Sports. We get no football tonight. Maybe there's some action going on, but I do know this. We have a bunch of basketball going on, many, many good games tonight. And we've got a couple of great guests. We'll have Taylor Mathis join us at 8. We'll have the great Scott Engel, Hall of Famer, the King, join us at 9:30. Me, you, hanging out. We're going to be giving away later on tonight a prized item. And accompanying this prized item is going to be a lot of personal storytelling from me about this individual. We are giving away tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern time here on Bettor Sports Live with Rick Kamla, a Shaquille O'Neal signed Hall of Fame basketball. It's a really, really dope piece. It's the best that I have seen so far. And we've given away a lot of great stuff. A Bryce Harper signed baseball. 2 nights ago, Garrett Wilson signed a full-size Jets helmet last night. Like, we're in the giving spirit. We're approaching the holiday season here. But we love you, and we want you to love us. But Shaquille O'Neal here, it's a great-looking autograph. It says HOF on it. And Shaq, at one point in his life, grabbed a Sharpie and went doodle, doodle, do on this basketball that we're giving you tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern time. All you got to do is follow at Bettor Network. Step 2 is retweeting the Shaq autograph ball post. So at Bettor Network, you'll see it, retweet it. Or go to at Rick Kamla Sports, you'll see it, retweet it, and download the app and listen. It's that simple, man. It's that simple. This is a rocket science, man. Trying to give away a Shaq signed Hall of Fame ball to you, courtesy of Bettor Sports Network. So we're excited about that, obviously, and we're very interactive here on Bettor Sports Network. We want you to get involved with the show, so do it. You can hit the call button right next to the fun button and join us either via audio or video. You can hit join the show. You can make comments, and we'll be checking out your comments here throughout the night. So we've got some NBA games right around the corner here. Let's start with some prop bets. We've got Game 4 in the World Series coming up later on tonight. Houston Astros at the Philadelphia Phillies. Very interesting developments last night, obviously, with a 7-0 victory for Philadelphia. Another home win, another 7-run game. They're averaging 7 runs per game at home in these playoffs, and they are 6-0. So who do I got tonight? Do I have Houston or do I have Philadelphia? You'll find out in a little bit. Actually, I don't want to tease you like that. I have Houston tonight, and I'll explain why. But I have Houston tonight, and I am maintaining my series prediction of Houston, even though my confidence is shook. I will say that. It's not broken, but it shook. I have 8 prop bets for you tonight in the NBA. And I would like to know, that last night your boy was sizzling. And I'll go through it in a minute. We'll laugh about some old stuff via last night. But 5-0 last night and looking to stay hot here. And looking through all the prop bets on all these NBA games, there were quite a few oohs and ahs. And that's when I get the tickle, and that's when you make money. So we got 8 of them tonight, 11 games in the NBA, huge night in the NBA. I love a Wednesday night in the NBA, and covering it here with you all on Bettor Sports Network. Trae Young, 28.5 points, and we're going under again. That's right. I am fading the great Trae Young, one of my guys, one of my personally vetted guys. We are fading him 2 nights in a row, 2 games in a row, I should say. We're going under 28.5. He's a minus 115 to the under. And we're going back to the well here. We hit the under on this 2 nights ago at Toronto. Okay. And I told you about the swarming defense and the long defenders on Trae. He was 3 of 13 and 14 points. He didn't even get halfway there to this number of 28.5. It was the exact same number the other night. This number is too high. It's just too high. This number should be 25.5, 26.5. That's where I believe this number should be. It's 28.5. Let's go under this number. The Knicks are 13th in defense, coached by Tom Thibodeau. Okay, so you know that there's always a defensive slant, a defensive game plan. I believe that Tibbs is going to be like, yo, we got to cut off the head of the snake. That guy can't beat us tonight. And the Hawks have other options, Capella and Collins and Hunter and DeJounte Murray. But I think the Knicks are going to be like, sick him on that guy right there. Quentin Grimes is coming back tonight for the New York Knicks. He will make his season debut. He is a defensive dog, or so they think. I don't know if they're going to sick him on Trae Young here tonight, but they might. And he's a noted defensive player and a Tibbs favorite. So that is what it is. I see Bradley Beal limping here. Bradley Beal, go to the free throw line and shoot free throws. I don't want to see you limping. My God. Come on, Beal. You're killing me, bro. Let's see what happened here. He landed on a foot, turned his right ankle. It was not a full roll, a slight roll. But it happened in the upper region of the ankle into the shin area. Does that make that a HIGH? I'm just kidding. Brad, I hope you're okay. He's staying in the game. But we know how NBA players miss games. I never want to see that. Anyway, there's a game going on right now, a weird 6:00 start time in Philadelphia. I thought we had an agreement here that we started games at 7:00 Eastern time in the NBA during the week. It's a 6:00 start time. Very, very, very weird. Okay. And so we're not going to be talking about that game. I'll be maybe reacting to a thing or two, but I don't have any prop bets for you on this game because it's already started. Anyway, back to Trae Young here. The number's too high. This is the 5th game in a long road trip for the Atlanta Hawks. Might be a little bit tired. They might even have a little bit of the Times Square flu. Okay. They've been in New York City here for, from Toronto. You probably fly in that night. So they had a whole day in New York. I don't know what the hell they did. It's just an angle. They may be a little tuckered out here tonight. Their 5th game on this long road trip so far. And they got drilled the other night in Toronto by, I believe, 30 points. Trae Young has been under this number right here, 28.5, in 4 of 7 games this year. He is not shooting well this year. He had 3 piping hot games, and he's had 4 really dudley games. Overall, he's shooting 40% from the field and 32% on threes. That is way off the efficiency that he put up last year. And he'll get there, but he's not there now. So it's not like Trae Young is cooking and heading into New York in a great way tonight. So we're going under on 28.5. His average per game is at 29. That's why Vegas is putting this number at 28.5. A lot of times they'll look at your career average, your season average, and that's just the number they go with, and then they take action on either side. I always say that's why it's on us to determine, based on the player's average, LeBron, 27 a game, Durant, 28 a game. Okay. Every game they do that. So why are they going over? Let's build a case for why they're going over or under. And in this case, we're building the case for Trae to go under. Now, I will say this. If you're really, really into it, okay, you've maybe done some digging on this and you've seen, or maybe you remember that last year Trae Young was out of sight against New York. He averaged 35.7 points per game in 3 meetings against New York last year. Obviously, we all remember the playoff visits to Madison Square Garden with Trae Young getting hazed, and then at the end with the Broadway bow. We all know this, right? There's a whole thing between Trae Young and Madison Square Garden. I get it. But now Trae Young has to share this backcourt with another all-star, DeJounte Murray. That changes the calculations. So 35.7, you can't hang your hat on that going into this one right here. Oh, man, he had 35.7 last year. He'll definitely go over 28.5. Okay? DeJounte Murray was a Spur last year. It's different now. Okay? So keep that in mind. We're going under on Trae Young at 28.5. All right. I did the numbers on this one. I guess I didn't quite put it together that this was a 6:00 game. See, I told you it's a buzzkill because I wanted to give you Tyrese Maxey here. Let's see, because it's a non-Joel Embiid game, and so that's an angle for us. Remember this: if you're not listening to me, you just want to play some prop bets on the NBA. Remember this: when it's a non-Embiid game, bang Tyrese Maxey. All right, and he was just at the free throw line getting some goodies here towards the end of the first half. Maxey has 12. All right, so he's well on pace to cover another one here. So I won't take credit for this one because the game's already off. But anyway, I wanted to put that out there. Literally just had that realization. But Tyrese Maxey was at 22.5. He's averaging 36 points per game in 2 games without Joel Embiid this year, and well on his way to another 30-burger here tonight. So if you have a live betting opportunity on a prop bet, I still would play because he's not soaring past the on pace portion for if you have the ability, still play it. And maybe even if it's hiked up to 23.5 because he's off to a decent start here with 12 points. It's late in the first half, so he's kind of right on his number right now. If there's a live betting opportunity, bang it, because I'm telling you, Tyrese Maxey without Joel Embiid gets busy. All right, so that's not an official tout tonight, but I did want to just make that point for you there. We got another prop bet for you here. So we got 7, not 8 tonight. Domantas Sabonis. Ooh, I like this one. The action is flat too. It's a minus 105 to the over. De'Aaron Fox is out, people. It sucks, but he's got a knee injury right now. So the De'Aaron Fox show is canceled for now. Okay? For now, it's been pulled off the air. It is the, drum roll please, Domantas Sabonis show now. Demo is averaging 13.5 points per game. What's wrong with that number, class? What's wrong with that number? I'll tell you what's wrong with that number. It doesn't make sense. That's not who he is. He's way better than that. He's an all-star. He's a 20-10-5 guy every night. He's a two-time all-star. All right, with Indiana, he made the all-star team twice. That's how good this guy is, man. But it's been the Fox show, and Fox has just been soaring with the numbers and the shots and the points, and we've gone over on his 25.5 the other night, and we hit it once again. But he got hurt in that game, and he's not playing tonight. And it's at Miami, and they're on the second of a back-to-back, and Jimmy Butler, because he loves missing games, isn't playing tonight. So this is all in our favor here. Over on Domantas Sabonis at 15.5. He, in my opinion, is going to average 20 points per game without De'Aaron Fox, however long he has to miss time. Okay, so we're my expectations are way over this number of 15.5, way over. Sabonis was the hub of the offense in Indiana. That's why he made 2 all-star teams. This is a big man getting triple doubles out there and flirting with it on most nights. It's kind of like a poor man's Jokic in a way. So he'll be the new hub of the offense here without De'Aaron Fox. Folks, I'm just going to put this out there. Domantas Sabonis might hit the over on this number in the first half because we've done that before, right? I forget. I think we hit one maybe with Ivy in the first half, maybe with Halliburton in the first half. I mean, it's rare to hit a number in the first half, but I'm telling you it's possible tonight with Domantas Sabonis. All right, so we're going Sabonis over 15.5. Let's go to the Bucks and Pistons game. And I got 2 low dough guys for you here, but you can turn it into big dough if you want. It's Rick Hamlaw on Bettor Sports Live, hanging out with you all on a busy Wednesday night. Around the corner here, we'll talk about Game 4 of the World Series. Brook Lopez at 13.5 points. We are going over this number. You, me, together. Yeah, I'm just kidding. But he's a minus 110 to the over. Brook Lopez, 13.5. Check it out. I like this one. He is balling right now. Balling. He's blocking shots. He's hitting threes. He's the number 3 option on the Milwaukee Bucks right now because Chris Middleton is still out. You have Holiday. Of course, you have Giannis Antetokounmpo. Lopez is like, okay, I get to eat more. This is fun. And he's really going off, man, for him. Usually hovers around 10, 11, 12 points, right? Okay, we're at 13.5. Here's his flow this year. He's gone 17 over, 9 and 7, and then 14 over, and then 21 over, and then 24 over. Last 3 over, 4 out of 6 this year over on this number of 13.5. A lot of indicators in our favor. There will be no Jalen Duren tonight for Detroit. He is out again with injury. And that's another rotation center for Detroit who could bother Lopez. He won't play tonight. Lopez will go up against Isaiah Stewart, a.k.a. Beef Stew. Don't worry, because in one game against Detroit last year, Brook Lopez went for 17 points. And, oh, yeah, they played on Monday. This is the second of one of these annoying baseball series in the NBA. And he had 24 against Detroit on Monday. Okay, so it's all good. There's no indicators to the contrary here. And trust me, I look at all, I'm not like burying stats here for you to prove a point. I'm trying to get these right. So we like Brook Lopez 13.5 over in the Bucks and Pistons game. We also like Jaden Ivey. Again, we keep going back to Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey is my main man. He is one of the main reasons why your boy is clicking at 66.7% on NBA props right now. 66.7%. He's a big reason why. We've probably hit on Jaden Ivey 4 times already. And we're very light into the season here. We're at the beginning of week 3. Jaden Ivey's number is at 13.5. And it was a bet up to minus 130 to the over. So a lot of action coming in on Ivey going over this number. It's because we're all watching. And we know Vegas has been very slow to adjust here, in my opinion. The other night, Paulo Banchero, last night against OKC, his number was 22.5. Remember? We've gone from 15.5 to 16.5 to 17.5 to 18.5, and now we're all the way up to 22.5. Vegas has gotten the memo. The alarms have gone off about Paulo Banchero. We're hemorrhaging money. We're hemorrhaging money. Up the odds, up the number. And they did. Okay. And we banged on that, and we made some good, hopefully you guys, me with the percentages here. He got me right. I think we've missed on Paulo once, but we might have hit every single time on him. And so last night it was 22.5, and I was like, nah, it's priced out. I don't see the value there. And I believe he went under that number last night. So, so you know what I'm saying? So they have not gotten with that with Jaden Ivey. And he's not doing it as splashy as Paulo. Paulo's like setting historical records and all this crazy stuff. Told you. But Vegas has been very slow to adjust here. To wit, Jaden Ivey's numbers have always been around 11.5, 12.5, 13.5, right? And he's been over this number here of 13.5 in 5 of 7 games this year. 5 of 7. It's a very high percentage. Jaden Ivey just hit for 19 points on 17 shots at Milwaukee on Monday in this same game. And to give you an idea overall of how well Jaden is playing this year, he's basically going at 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. You're like, this is a rookie in his 3rd week on the job. He's not supposed to be going 16, 4, and 4. Actually, I mean, he is. He's a high draft pick. But like most rookies would, like there are 7-year vets that would love to average that. Okay. My point is, Ivy is in the Wade category. He's in the Donovan Mitchell category. He's in that category of player. He has the potential to be that good. And it's because he's super athletic. He's rocked up and he's fast as hell. That's why. It's because he is a better athlete than most of the guys he's going up against. Anyway, soliloquy over, but we're over Jaden Ivey here at 13.5. Continuing on with Ricky Props here, a.k.a. Rick Campbell on Bettor Sports Live, giving you the NBA props of the night. And I'll recap when we're done here and get you caught up. But Paul George, we stacked the Clippers the other night against the Rockets, and it didn't work. We hit on Paul George. We missed badly on Reggie Jackson. We missed badly on Marcus Morris. They didn't even come close to their number, okay? So we're not going to do that again. But we're going to go back to Paul George. Paul George had 36 points, like 8 rebounds, 9 assists, like 6 threes, like 6 steals. Like literally, he had a one-on-one game. I know that. I saw on Stat Muse. He had a game that had never been done before in the NBA. That's how good Paul George was the other night against Houston. And clutch, making the 2 shots late in the game to get him the win and all that. He was a superhero in that game. And he broke out of his slump. Remember, we talked about it. He's averaging 19 points per game, shooting below 40. I believe his 3-point percentage was in the 20s at that point. And so it's one game, right? But hearing Paul George after that game and how important that performance was, they had lost 4 in a row going into that game. They were 2-4 going into that game. And it was like an all hands on deck type of situation. And Paul George literally put the team on his back and was like, yo, we're winning. Think about this. Paul George is basically the only player on the Clippers who's playing well right now. They just don't have guys playing well. It's a guy with 9 points per game, 8 and 7 and 6 and 5. And it's nickels and dimes all over the place. Norman Powell's at like 10 points per game. They're just not playing well. Okay. Paul George knows this. And Paul George started playing well. I believe it's going to carry over. Do I see another 36-point masterpiece? I don't know, maybe not. But we got to get to 24.5. We got to get to 25. And without Kawhi Leonard and with nobody else on this team playing well, and it's the Rockets with their bad defense in your crib, this sets up well for us for Paul George. The number is up by 2 over Monday when it was 22.5. And it was an absolute gift from the Vegas sports books. Paul George at 22.5 against Houston. Come on, man. Come on, man. That was a gift from Las Vegas. Moving on here with more props on the NBA here tonight. And, remember we talked about Trey Mann last night of the Oklahoma City Thunder. By the way, he hit his over. Ding! Even with Josh Giddey returning. And I was like, do you guys even know who Trey Mann is? And a lot of you were probably like, no, Cam, I don't. You're like Charles Barkley. Who he play for, right? So, Jakob Poeltl. Do you know who that is? Do you even know how to say his name or spell it? Probably not. Jakob Poeltl. But see, the thing is is it doesn't matter what his name is, doesn't matter what team he plays for, it doesn't matter what his resume really says. What matters is, can we make money on Jakob Poeltl tonight or not? The answer is yes. His number is 14.5, and it is a home game against the Toronto Raptors. It's minus 130 to the over. Think about that. Jakob Poeltl has generated enough action to go minus 130 on the over. Folks are banging on Jakob Poeltl tonight. All right, sharp money coming in. You can get with it or not. It's on you. But he's going up against his former team. And I love that angle, right? The reunion game angle, the get back angle. Man, these jokers traded me, man. They gave up on me, man. I'm going to show them. And so I did the digging, and I went into Jakob Poeltl's splits for last year. And I just thought to myself, I wonder if he plays well against Toronto, thinking that he probably does. And ding, he does. Last year against Toronto, his former team, he went 15 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 53%. I could go on, but I think you get the point. He was a badass against his former team last year. He gave them the business. And Jakob Poeltl is in trade rumors right now. Okay, so when that's happening, guys' antenna are raised. And it just becomes like more of a focus spot. Oh, I'm in trade rumors, man. I got eyes on me. Somebody may come rescue me from tanking San Antonio. Oh, by the way, Jakob Poeltl is having a great year. He really is. 14 points per game, 11 rebounds per game, 4 assists per game for Jakob Poeltl this year. And check this angle out. Jakob Poeltl might just be showcasing for a return to Toronto. They could use a player like Jakob Poeltl. They're starting Pascal Siakam at center, and he's having an MVP type of year. He's just a badass player. But would they like more fortification at that spot? Maybe. I'm just letting you know that there's a possible additional angle there. Toronto actually needs another big, in my opinion, and he's a big that's on the trade market. Toronto frequently is mentioned as a team that wants more help for their team. Just saying. Jakob Poeltl, 14.5. Let's go over that number. Finally, we've got Ja Morant. And this one is a late night joint for you all. You got to stay up late. It will be at 10 o'clock Eastern time. And it's an ESPN game. The ESPN doubleheader tonight is Boston at Cleveland in Darius Garland's return. And then 10 o'clock, it's Memphis at Portland. And Dame, last I saw, will not play in that game, but Ja Morant will. Okay, so his number is 28.5 tonight. And there's heavy action to the over here at a minus 135. We're still going over this number. You can't, I mean, look, it's below 30. When I got to this game and I was like, all right, Ja Morant, anything below 30, we're banging on it. 28.5, goosh. Yes, let's go. His flow this year, 34, 49, 20, 38, 22, 37. We won't do this all year. When they played 30 games, we won't do the flow, but it's early, right? We do the football flow. It may, just, understand what I'm saying. He's over this number in 4 of 6 games this year, 28.5, 4 of 6. 2/3 of the time he's going over this number. How about the splits against Portland? Okay, last year, promising. 2 meetings, he averaged 30.5 points per game, and he did not average that for the year. He averaged like 27. So he was like 3 over his normal number against Portland. Something about this matchup he likes. He shot 50% from the field last year against Portland. And without Damian Lillard, here's where the advantage comes for us. Look, Dame is not like a shutdown guard like Ja could get his numbers against Dame. But when Ja has to go up against Damian Lillard, guess what? Ja has to guard Damian Lillard. And what does that mean? It saps your energy, okay? Or potentially saps your energy with him. I mean, this guy is like a human Red Bull. But he doesn't have to worry about Dame tonight. So I think that's going to be more energy on the offensive end. And Ja knows, his team knows that he has to take off every single night just for them to hang. They don't have Jaren Jackson Jr. And when you think about Bane and Dylan Brooks, like, yeah, they're good players, but I mean, Ja's got to support them with a foundation of a 30-point game every single night. Otherwise, the math doesn't work. And I anticipate this to be a very fun game. Memphis at Portland with lots of viral highlights and statement plays and all this kind of stuff. So there it is, folks. And let me write this down here as I breeze through these. So we've got Ja at 28.5. And one of my favorite things to do is track these throughout the night with you, joke around a little bit. We had Poeltl at 14.5. We had, as we move along here, Paul George at 24.5, little PG action there. We had Jaden Ivey at 13.5. Looking forward to that game tonight. We had Lopez at 13.5 for you. Going over all of these, by the way, we're going under on Trae Young. We'll get to that in a minute. Sabonis, Domantas Sabonis, we're over him at 15.5 against Miami tonight. And then, I won't even mention Tyrese Maxey again. And then we had Trae Young under 28.5. So we've got a total of 7 prop bets on the NBA for you tonight. And hopefully we can make some money together, man. Let me check these comments real quick. See what you guys are saying out here. My homies out here who have clicked join the show and are hanging out with me on Bettor Sports Network. So what? We got Dave Poland in here. Dave, what up? Anthony Rivera, our great producer and engineer, with Tyler Soda behind the glass as well. Heavy T is here. Yes, we got Dave Poland. We got Better Boss. Big show coming up. Great guest. I know, Better Boss. Great guest. Taylor Mathis at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We've got Scott Engel, the King, coming up at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. And Better Boss says, I just took Morant. Literally. I love it. I love it, Better Boss. Let's go. Let's go. Dave Poland says, I missed the beginning of the show. Was Ricky Props 5-0 last night? Trey Mann went over even with Giddey playing. Dave, you the man. I did go 5-0 last night. And on the other side of this first break, I will briefly unpack like how we did and go into a little bit of it. I won't spend very much time on that because it's old stuff. But I do like to pay off how we did with these. But I tell you what, it's great to have you. Get in the game is in here. He says Ja rules. Yes. In fact, he does. So here's what I want to do. I want to come back and I've got a cross sports special for you. Okay. It involves the Phillies. Damn it. It involves the 76ers. The game was at 6:00 game. You're killing me with this start time. I tried to come up with a cross sports special for you. I tried. Philadelphia, they're playing today and they're playing in the World Series tonight. Oh, that's why they did this. Oh, my God. That's why they did this. The World Series tonight. World Series starts at 8. Their game started at 6. Their game will be over like within the first inning of the World Series game. I get it. I get it. I get it. Okay. Sometimes, look, I'm so locked in with the goodies and the props and all of the fantasy and all the betting and all the collectibles. And we're giving away a Shaq signed Hall of Fame basketball tonight at 9:00 Eastern time. You got to follow at Bettor Network, retweet the Shaq autograph post, and listen to the dang show. That's all you got to do to win. But it's key. You got to follow us at Bettor Network and you got to retweet the Shaq post. Okay. Is that too much to ask? I got all this on my brain. Okay. Sometimes I dung the frying pan upside the head. And it worked. It really did. It got me right. So I am not going to come back with a cross sports special. I was going to tell you, take the over at 19.5 of Philadelphia's combined threes and combined hits. And I really felt like we were going to hit that, but it started too early for us to hit that. So we'll come back. I'll pay off the prop bets that we went with last night. And around the corner, we'll start getting into the World Series tonight. Who is going to win Game 4? You will find out very, very shortly. It is Rick Campbell right here on Bettor Sports Network.
This is Bettor Sports Live. Bettor Sports Live. On Call with Dr. Roto, Tuesdays and Fridays at 10 p.m. Eastern on Bettor Sports Network.
Gino's going to run a quarterback draw, and he's going to walk in. Touchdown, Seahawks!
What's interesting about Geno Smith this year, he has not gotten to where he has been success-wise this year in bulk. He's not throwing 44 times a game. He's not going 32 for 45 for 300 yards. Guy barely throws more than 30 times. The guy barely throws more than 30 times. What he has been doing is he's been efficient and he's been throwing the ball down the field. So maybe he's going 20 for 27 for 210 yards. That means he's throwing the ball down the field. He's not nickel and diming it. He's not going 2 yards here, 2 yards there. He's throwing the ball down the field. When you have Tyler Lockett, when you have DK Metcalf, when you have Marquise Goodwin, when you have D. Eskridge, you have guys with speed that you could take chances down the field. And it's been paying off. It's been paying off big time. I'm excited to see that.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com. Weekdays at 5 Eastern.
Hurts takes the snap. He's back. He lets it fly. He is going deep. And it is caught for a touchdown. A.J. Brown.
Jalen Hurts, man. I'm so glad I have a share of this guy. He's been great. The Eagles have been excellent this year, man. And ultimately, just getting A.J. Brown just shows how much having someone like A.J. Brown can really help the development of a quarterback who otherwise doesn't have that kind of strong weapon in A.J. Brown.
Yeah, and the only issue with the Eagles right now is they don't do anything in the second half because they're up so big, and they could put up even better fantasy numbers, but they're just
On call with Dr.
Hurts was going to have a great year because the ability to run. Adding A.J. Brown was huge. And look, from week to week, you're not going to get all these guys to produce. Miles Sanders. With these guys, I think you just got to play them every week. And you understand there's going to be a week where Brown, Goddard, Smith, Sanders, one of them's probably not going to come through on a given week. And there's really not much you can do with that. We've seen it. A.J. Brown against the Cardinals had 3 for 32. Now it's going to happen. Week 2, he had 5 for 69. So there are going to be games where he just doesn't have huge numbers. And same thing with Smith. We've seen a couple of down games from Smith. But those guys, because of this offense and how good they are and how they can put up 30, you just got to keep them in your lineup every single week.
Call, chat, enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Bettor Sports Network. Bettor Sports Live with Rick Kamla on Bettor Sports Network.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing? It is your boy Cam, and I'm excited. Why? Oh, gosh, because, look, I'm alive. I'm breathing. God gave another day on earth to me. Family's great, but I'm just psyched to be on here with you guys. We got Game 4 of the World Series coming up around the corner. We got Taylor Mathis, who's outstanding, and we're going to talk about the World Series Game 4 of the World Series, vibe out with her a little bit on some baseball as the game gets going here in just a little bit. I'm looking up here. I got Walt Clyde Frazier with, I don't even know how to describe it. It looks like a psychedelic trip on LSD that he's wearing. I mean, and I absolutely love his clothes. Mike Breen is there. We got games about to go off. And Trae Young's about to play at Madison Square Garden. We're going to find out tonight. We are going to find out tonight who is going to win this World Series. I'm putting it out there right now. Whoever wins tonight's game is winning the World Series. If the Astros win tonight and tie it at 4, and then they've got 2 out of the last 3 at home, they're going to, because then if they win tonight, they get it back to Houston, no matter what happens in Game 5. I believe the winner of tonight's game in the World Series will win the World Series. If Philly wins tonight and they go up 3-1, it's over. Justin Verlander is going to be on the mound in Game 5. He's going to get shredded, Fargo style. At Philly? What? He won't even make it to the 3rd inning. Tonight is the night. The World Series is tonight. I'm telling you. All right. So let's look back at the props we had last night quickly. We had Kevin Durant at 30.5. I believe his final number was 32. He went over. Kyrie Irving did not. He had his worst game as a net last night. Worst game as a net. Like that. But we'll take it. Kevin Durant, a lot of these nights, is not going over his number by much, but he's going over his number. So we love that. He's been living in the 30s all year. Hit 32 for us again last night. Bam Adebayo, again, didn't make it by much. The number was 18.5. He had 19 points. We'll take it. Sometimes you got to live dangerously. I think back to the Denver and in Indianapolis Thursday night game. I went like 5-1 that night. Like, I had a great night. And a lot of it came down to overtime, and I needed to carry here in overtime. But it was just one of those kind of lucky nights where it all fell into place. Last night was that night in the NBA as I went 5-0. We had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at 27.5. He went way over his number. He had 34 points last night. This guy is in the zone right now. 27.5. Ha, 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 Vegas. You can't contain him with your measly 27.5. Trey Mann, Dave Poland's boy, 11.5. And you remember me languishing the late switcheroo with Giddey playing, Josh Giddey, their point guard. And I was like, probably going to lose the Trey Mann bet tonight. He had 4 points at halftime. and my man got it cooking for his typical 13-point performance. It's all we needed. He was at 11.5 with the point prop, 13. We'll take it. Another win. Even with Josh Giddey out there, he still went over. And Trey Mann, again, he's one of my faves. And then, okay, we were talking about hitting a prop bet in the first half. We did it last night with Cam Johnson of Phoenix. He had 17 points, I believe, in the first half. His number was 14.5. I think he ended up with 26 in the game. But remember last night I said he's building towards a 20-point breakout game. Boom, Minnesota, national television. We got it all. And so we went 5-0 last night in the prop Betty bets. And if you are just joining us and maybe you're like, wow, he was 5-0 last night. What's he on tonight? I'll run it through here real quickly for you. We're on the under on Trae Young at 28.5 at the Knicks. We are on the over of Domantas Sabonis, 15.5 points at Miami. We're over Brook Lopez, 13.5 points at home against the Pistons. We're over on Jaden Ivey, 13.5 points at the Bucks. Paul George, we're over his number at 24.5 at home against the Rockettes. Jakob Poeltl, over 14.5 in a homie against Toronto. And John Morant, over 28.5 on the road late night at Portland. Let's get to the World Series. And let's break it down. First, I want to talk a little bit about Game 3. And then it'll set the stage and we'll go into to Game 4. By the way, I see Bradley Beal up here smiling as they come back from break in the Wizards and 76ers game. So you get to breathe a sigh of relief there. He's smiling. He's in the game. He looks bouncy and spry and healthy, and I'm very happy about that. And anybody out there that manages Bradley Beal in fantasy leagues, like he's not having that great of a year anyway. He's really not. So come on, Brad. Let's go. Let's go, Brad. Let's go. Season started. He just got a bucket, by the way. I talked him up. Yeah. See what your boy did right there. All right, Game 3. Ranger friggin' Suarez, man. Huh? Ranger Suarez to the rescue. Oh, the rain. That's right. That's right. Well, Suarez was, in fact, a big upgrade over Thor. Hell, I'll admit when I was wrong. And I thought it was a lateral move, a push, a wash, going from Thor to Suarez. And who knows? Thor might have been able to go 5 strong last night, too. He might have. But they gave the ball to Suarez, and Suarez did go 5 strong last night and got Philly off into a great direction. Obviously, the bats were kicking ass. They obliterated Lance McCullers. He just gave up another home run, like right there in that second. So the Suarez thing, the rain out the other night, actually did pay off. It actually was an angle. It actually was a thing. Okay, so I gotta give credit where credit is due. Ranger Suarez, by the way, who would be the Game 7 pitcher, based on that article that we had from NBC Sports yesterday. Obviously, rotations are subject to change and all that. But as it stands right now, McCullers and Suarez would be the Game 7 status. Well, that's bad news for Houston because Ranger Suarez is 5-0 in these playoffs right now. Not like he's got 5 wins, but the Phillies are 5-0 when he pitches. Okay, he's a good luck charm. Things go right for them when he's on the mound. It's just how it works out. Lance McCullers got mauled by a grizzly bear last night. Shredded. Nothing left of him. A few bones and bloody remains. That's it. That's all that's left of him. I mean, that grizzly bear ate and ate and ate and ate and ate and ate and ate. Oh, he's hibernating right now. We're not going to see his ass until March, okay? That's what happened to Lance McCullers last night. My God, 5 home runs. Are you serious? Are you serious? You remember last night? I was like, whoa, Bryce Harper. I mean, Bryce Harper hit it literally 1,000 feet. By the way, 5 home runs allowed is the most ever in a World Series game. And you thought Justin Verlander was bad in the World Series. Holy crap. Now, McCullers' numbers were good going in the World Series. They were. They weren't great, but they were good. There was no indication he was going to get just shredded like that. It's baseball. You never know. Folks, this is why we're at a crossroads here tonight. This is the game. If the Astros win tonight, they're going to win the World Series. If the Phillies win tonight, they're going to win the World Series. You're like, Cam, you're really jumping ahead of the – no, I'm not. This is just how I read it. If Philly goes up 3-1, it's over. Here's why. if the Astros don't have an advantage with their starting pitching, then this series is a wrap because Philly has a better lineup. They do. When's the last big hit by Yordan Alvarez, by the way? But Philly has a better lineup than Houston. That's documented. And Philly's bullpen is eye to eye with Houston's. It's almost a push or a wash. They both have great bullpens. Okay, so why did I pick Houston to win the World Series before the playoffs began? Class, why did I say that? Because they have the best starting pitching in Major League Baseball, and it's not close. If that is not an advantage for them against Philadelphia, who outside of Nola and Wheeler are I'll say questionable at 3, 4, and 5 in their rotation, if that's not an advantage for you, they got you. Checkmate. So I'm not ready to say checkmate, though. We got Javier on the mound tonight for Houston. He's a badass. That's why I'm not ready to flip yet. I'm not. I thought about it a lot today. I mean, very impressive and convincing win last night for Philly, okay? I'm not flipping over to Philly. I'm not. I'm hanging in there. Again, this has been like a month of analysis and projections, and no, I'm not gonna punt that and flush that for one impressive World Series game. I'm not going to do it. I'm stubborn that way. So if I were betting on this, I would bet Houston tonight, and I'll get to the numbers here in a minute. But obviously, my confidence is shook after what I saw last night. I mean, McCullers. I thought, look, if you told me McCullers went 6 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, got a quality start, and like the Phillies won last night, okay, like that's fine. I can understand all that. 5 home runs allowed? Are you kidding me? That was an act of God happening last night at Philadelphia. So if Houston doesn't have that advantage with the starting pitchers, it's checkmate for Philly. Tonight is the last opportunity I am giving Houston to prove that is an advantage for them. And if tonight Javier is not an advantage for Houston and Nola's on the mound for Philly, all right, so we're back into their big boys here. If that's not an advantage for Houston, they're done. It's that simple. Do you guys agree? Do you guys agree? Hey, join the show. Hit the comment section. Dave Poland is saying here, McCullers was tipping his pitches based on the height of his leg kick. Dave, you are so detail-oriented, man. This guy right here. I love comments like that. He writes, Trey Mann cost me a lot of money during Summer League. Worst Summer League player ever. Dave, I will be on the air here, God willing, next summer in July when the Summer League is going on. I will help you through these issues, Dave. I will help you. I wasn't there. And not that you can't. You're a very, very big boy, betting a lot more money than I would. You definitely have your own thoughts and ideas, but I have a lot of expertise and knowledge of the Las Vegas Summer League in particular. It's sort of a specialty of mine. Dave Poland writes here, Mattress Mac stands to win $75 million, and he got into it with Philly fans after the game last night. $75 million. Holy crap. Wow. And Anthony Rivera says Philly's got the mojo right now. Let's see if Houston can get it back. That's why my confidence is shook, because the mojo, my God, Philly's mojo is incredible. It's incredible. But so is the Houston Astros ball club. So I'm giving them one more chance, hanging in there with them for one more night. And obviously, if they win tonight, they tie the series at 2, then, okay, game on. It's as predicted. If they lose tonight and it's 3-1, then that is not as predicted. I predicted Houston to win the series in 7 games. So I ain't tripping that they're down 2-1. I'm not tripping on that. I thought all along, all they got to do is win 1 in Philadelphia and get it back to Houston, and then let's see. Okay? So let's get to my game 4 prediction here. Christian Javier, minus 105. Flat odds, basically a pick'em type of situation. The splits are favorable for Christian Javier. At home, in the regular season, his ERA was 2.26. On the road, it increases, but only to 2.84. He had a 2.84 road ERA. Hello. He has a 2.70 postseason ERA for his career, under 3. His only start in this postseason, he was amazing. Yankees fans know this. He went 5 1/3, 1 hit allowed, no runs, 3 walks, 5 Ks. And the dub. He did not pitch against Philadelphia this year. And when hitters have not seen a pitcher, that's advantage pitcher. I know this to be true because I'm a baseball guy. But it's funny because as I was writing that thought, coming up with these notes right here, I thought back to Alex Rodriguez on the Fox set. It was last night or the night before. I can't really remember. You know me. Too many concerts, too many games. But he was talking about when hitters have not seen a pitcher, that's advantage pitcher, right? The more you see a pitcher, the better you're able to hit that pitcher. So the Phillies did not see Javier this year. That's a problem. That's one of the reasons why I like Houston tonight. Let's get into Aaron Nola here. Splits on Aaron Nola are very, very weird. They're pump fakey. In his first 2 postseason games this year, he allowed 0 earned runs in 12 2/3 innings. Could not have been better. And that was against St. Louis and Atlanta. Then we get into the tall weeds of the Major League Baseball playoffs. In his last 2 playoff games, which would be the NLCS and the first game in the World Series, he has given up 11 earned runs over 9 innings. He goes from 0 in 12.2 to 11 in 9. Help me out with that, folks. And Aaron Nola obviously is a terrific pitcher and one of the aces of Major League Baseball. It has me wondering if Aaron Nola suffers from the Romo gene. It has me wondering if Aaron Nola is in a similar room as Justin Verlander. When the chips really, really get raised and the importance really gets raised, like he shrinks. It has me wondering about that. This is the first time we've seen Aaron Nola on a long playoff run. Now, there are some positive indicators for Aaron Nola, and that's why I say this is pump faking. Aaron Nola did not have a great start, did have a great start against Houston in the regular season. He got the wins. He did not allow a run. Okay, so head-to-head, Nola mowed down the Houston Astros during the regular season. That matters. Aaron Nola, so let's talk about home. Aaron Nola, 3 of his 4 starts in the playoffs have been on the road. And as we mentioned, 2 of those, he got shredded. Well, he started 1 game at home in these playoffs, only 1, and he was lights out. It was a game against Atlanta. The Phillies won the game 9-1, and he went 6 innings, 7 base runners allowed, 1 run, but no earned runs, and he struck out 6. He was fantastic. That's his only home start this year. We saw Ranger Suarez plug into a strong home vibe last night. Will Aaron Nola plug into a strong home vibe tonight? That is a legitimate question. I'm conflicted on Aaron Nola, as I've documented here. I'm going to give the pitching advantage tonight to Christian Javier. Again, and it also supports literally what I've been saying throughout the entire playoffs. I'm going to remain consistent with that. The pitching edge tonight goes to Javier over Aaron Nola because I'm not conflicted about Javier. He was nasty against the Yankees, and he's going to be nasty tonight against the Phillies. There are no red flags on Javier's side. That is outside of the Phillies lineup. But that's not a Javier red flag. That's just the circumstance of the matchup. We're analyzing pitching matchups here. I feel like Houston has a leg up tonight on Philadelphia in the starting pitching category. We shall see if it comes to fruition, but that's where my bet is tonight. My pick is Houston, and I checked this line out about an hour ago. It was Houston minus 105. Philadelphia is minus 115. So Houston is suddenly the underdog here tonight. And you can understand why. Frankly, I thought it would be larger than that. I thought it might be Philly minus 135, Philly minus 130, Houston maybe plus 120 here. It's not. This is a very pick'em game. A lot of money coming in on both sides of the money line, but I'm on Houston minus 105 here tonight. It is a must win. The series is on the line. Players won't admit to a must win. I work with Antonio Daniels on NBA radio on Sirius XM. Love him. And he does not, he would not agree with me that tonight will decide the World Series. He actually hates this angle, but it's okay. It's like this is a nerdy media guy, analyst, better fantasy guy angle, right? Ball players think differently. Ball players think that they are going to win or excel or, no matter what. It's called delusional competence. And I don't have delusional confidence. I was not a ball player. I mean, I played ball, but not in the pros. So he doesn't like that angle. Ball players don't like that angle. But you know what? Don't you think Houston is feeling like, yo, we can't lose again tonight? And they're a really proud, really successful team. I believe that their championship DNA shines through tonight. Rudy Tomjanovich once said, never underestimate the heart of a champion. And there are a lot of champions in that clubhouse. They got shredded last night, and I believe they're going to come out and play a good baseball game tonight. And I think they're going to win this baseball game tonight. Houston just needs to win one of these next two games. But it's got to be tonight. It can't be 3-1. And then, like, every swing of the bat tomorrow night in game 5, like, is this it? Is this my last at bat? Is this my last at bat with runners on base? And the pressure builds. And you know that the crowd's going to be building to a crescendo. You just don't want to face that. You got to tie the series tonight. Because tomorrow night, like I said, if it's 3-1, forget about it. We're not going back to Houston. We're not. Phillies, you're not even going to have to get back on a plane. Just go out there and bat them up, and you're going to savage Verlander, in the World Series is yours. Tonight's the night. If I'm feeling it here in Largo, Florida, to me, certainly they got to be feeling it up at Philadelphia. You would think. Now, we are running up against some, like, incredibly daunting numbers here in taking Houston, but I'm stubborn that way. Philadelphia is 6-0 at home in the playoffs. 6-0. They're averaging 7 runs per game in the playoffs. Those numbers are crazy. They're crazy. But I know what you're thinking right now. Boy, Cam, you got some brass ones betting Houston tonight. Well, I do. I do, in fact, have brass ones. That's why I'm going. I picked I was going to say Rockets. The Astros can win the World Series because of their starting pitchers. Here they are with Javier, arguably their best starting pitcher right now. We're at that game. Why I predicted them to win the World Series. This is that game tonight. So I'm not going to, like, blink now. Oh, my God, I'm so scared. Philly beat them 7-0 last night. I'm running for cover. And I'm trashing my opinion, birthed and massaged over the last month on a variety of shows and platforms. And think about this. Steve Nash said this once, not at his, on his way out of Brooklyn, but back as a player. He said, when you win a playoff game, it's like you're never going to lose again. And when you lose a playoff game, it's like you're never going to win again. It's so true. Watching Philadelphia the other night, it's like Houston has no chance, right? They're done. They're cooked. How are they going to win here in Philadelphia with this amazing home court, home field advantage, and all this kind of stuff? It's baseball. That's why. It's baseball. And just when you think you got it figured out, let's go back to Monday night. Didn't you think you had it figured out with the Bengals and the Browns? I told you I had the Browns. Why? Because of the spots for the teams. Cincy riding high, Cleveland riding low. Home dog Monday night, let's go. Made a lot of sense. Like, it didn't make sense based on the state of the teams going into the game, okay? But on the end result, you're like, boy, yeah, it was a bad spot for Cincinnati. They came in rolling. Cleveland came in desperate and hungry, losing a bunch of games in a row. Okay, that's what we got. That's what you get. That's what it's just. You guys know this. That's the NFL. It's a week-to-week league. Just when you think you got it all figured out, like just when you're, like, riding a hot team, just when you're, thinking that what you've seen is going to be what you continue to see, that's when you don't. And so I'm going to apply that to the game tonight as well, because I felt last night like, oh, my God, like, I might have been wrong here with Houston. Damn it, I'm hanging in there with it. I am. I'm giving them one more game. And it's like if Urquidy or Garcia or somebody was like, no, this is Javier. Like, did you watch him pitch against the Yankees earlier in these playoffs? He was freaking amazing, like literally unbelievable. So he is so talented too, man. Such a talented pitcher. So I got Houston tonight, folks. And the game 4 of the World Series is just around the corner, actually like 9 minutes away. So let's catch a break right here. We're going to bring on Taylor Mathis, who's an outstanding guest. And we're going to talk baseball with her, vibing out here on the World Series, who she got tonight in game 4 and all that jazz. So it'll be me, your boy Rick Kamla, and Taylor Mathis on the other side. I do want to remind you here that we're giving away a Shaquille O'Neal signed Hall of Fame basketball at 9 o'clock Eastern time. You're like, how? Okay, here's what you do. Go to Twitter, go to @Bettor Network. That's with an O, @Bettor Network. Give us a follow, all right? then find the Shaq autographed basketball post, retweet it, and listen. That's all you have to do. All right. So I'm Rick Hamlet, Taylor Mathis on the other side, talking Game 4 of the World Series on Bettor Sports Live.
This is Bettor Sports Live. Hang out in the Bettor Zone, where you track NFL live action on Bettor Sports Network.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that when I look at the lines, I say, okay, if it's a Detroit game, I'm probably going to bet the over. I'm going to look for ways for it to go to the under, but I'm probably going to bet the over. There's certain things that I look at, and I don't know if that's a smart way to do it, because you're using something that happened as biased, but to this point, it seems to be working out.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has their own strategy, right? On how they bet. I always tell people all the time, hey, whatever works for you, do it. It's kind of like in the old days, I used to be a personal trainer, and people would come in thinking there was only one way to work out, right? And I like, no, you got to find what works for you and your lifestyle. Plenty of ways to lose weight, and there's not one style. And I think betting's just like that. It took me years to figure out the right style for me. So, I had some tough runs as a youngster growing up, but, you figure this stuff out. I don't really care what the public and the sharps are betting. I just don't. I understand it's an interesting little nugget that people put out there, but I don't think it impacts the game. So that's something I don't really look at much.
Middling is something we could try to do. You bet a team pregame -4, you live bet the other team +10. You can win both. Can you talk about that? Middling.
Listen, middling is that's why it's always hard to say what the sharps are on. Sometimes the sharps are on 3 different plays in the same game. This is how they bet. They're looking for the best number. Then live, they'll come in again on the other team. They're looking to hit this both ways. So that's a more advanced betting strategy that I don't think most people would do. But yeah, I mean, it's always a good idea. And again, when there's more games like in college, it's a little easier to do because you can find some good situations there. I try to do it once in a while. I probably don't do it as much as I should. Yeah, it's a great strategy.
Hang out in the Bettor Zone for a better NFL game day experience. Sundays at 1 Eastern on Bettor Sports Network. Bettor Sports Live with Rick Kamla on Bettor Sports Network.
All right, folks, we are back and really excited to bring Taylor Mathis on here in just a little bit. I tell you what, I'm gonna riff a little bit here in the time that we have before we bring her on, because I just saw some breaking news out of the NBA, and it's actually pretty big. So let's talk about this right now. It involves Kyrie Irving, and Kyrie Irving obviously had a dreadful game last night, but it goes back to the anti-Semitic film that he retweeted on his Twitter feed. And it's got, a lot of people offended, a lot of people outraged, a lot of people really upset with him, specifically in the Jewish community, right? And rightly so. And, it took him 3 days to delete the tweet. He had, after they lost to Indiana on Saturday night, there was a press conference, and he got into it with Nick Friedel of ESPN.com, who covers the Nets. And it got ugly, and it got really contentious and really jagged and edgy and all this kind of stuff. And really, just that was a platform right there to just say, I was wrong. I didn't mean to offend anybody by that. I am not an anti-Semite. And but he didn't. I mean, he kind of did, but then he fought back and was all rebellious about it. And it was like, what are we doing here? Where are you at with this? Because retweeting something is in a way, linking yourself to it or endorsing it or something like that. I would never take something on Twitter and retweet something that I didn't believe in or didn't agree with or something that was horrible, right? Like anti-Semitic stuff. You just would never do that. So why would you do that? So we've all been wondering this, right? And after last night's game against the Chicago Bulls, the Nets put a muzzle on him and didn't let him speak to the media. And Sean Marks said at a press conference, we don't want to create more fuss and all this. No, what needs to happen is Kyrie Irving needs to address the media and tell people, I am not an anti-Semite 1,000 times. Because right now it's open to interpretation for people, which is dangerous. People are going to take stuff and run with it, which might not actually be true. Here's the report. The Brooklyn Nets and Kyrie Irving will each donate $500,000 toward causes and organizations that work to eradicate hate and intolerance in our communities They announced in a joint statement with the Anti-Defamation League on Wednesday. The Nets and Kyrie Irving will work with the ADL, a nonprofit organization devoted to fighting anti-Semitism and all types of hate that undermine justice and fair treatment for every individual. This is an effort to develop educational programming that is inclusive and will be comprehensively combat all forms of anti-Semitism and bigotry. So this is what Kyrie Irving needed to do. Let us know that you are not an anti-Semite, and stop all of the speculation and the rumor and the wondering, and come out with a gesture like this, heartfelt, digging into your pocket, making a difference in the community. And this is what needed to happen. I don't know why it took so long, but it has happened. And so that's big news right there. And people are still going to feel the way they want to feel about Kyrie, but he needed to come out and sort of explain himself and let us all know what's up. I'll tell you what's up. Taylor Mathis is here. That's what's up, man. Taylor, it's your boy Rick Kamla over here at Bettor Sports Live. Welcome to Game 4 of the World Series. How are you tonight?
I am doing great. How are you? I'm so excited. Game 4. I was so shocked by Game 3. I did not expect the Phillies to come out like that. So hoping we have another good one tonight.
Okay, so but I want to write that down here. Let me find a little piece of paper here. Shocked Game 3. I want to circle back to that. But Taylor, we're like 2 minutes away. I'm a note taker. I got pens. I got papers. I'm old school that way, Taylor. But the game is literally about to start here. Okay, so who you got tonight?
Oh my gosh. So outright, I'm going to go with the Astros tonight, but I do have a couple of quick little plays that I can give you that people could probably get in right now before things are about to get started. We have on the mound tonight, Game 4, Aaron Nola pitching for the Phillies and Christian Javier on the mound tonight for the Astros. Like I said, I was shocked that the Astros were shut out 7-0 in Game 3. I really think the sold-out crowd in Philly is assisting and silencing the Astros. I figured that would play a part, and it has. Christian Javier only has a 2-pitch mix, throwing a 4-seam fastball and a slider 90% of the time. Javier's fastball did rank 7th best in the league during the regular season, but despite that, his fastball usually favors left-handed batters. I'm going to go with a right-handed batter prop instead. Rhys Hoskins, first baseman for the Phillies, to hit tonight. Reason I'm taking this over the lefties like Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper, their power hitters in that lineup, is because the juice was just too high to take. So I'd rather lean in with that instead. He's coming off of a night where he had a homer and he's batting a 267 at home. Against the fastball, Hoskins fares really well. He has 94 hits, also averaging a 267. Javier only gets called strikeouts 14% of the time, which leads me to believe a disciplined hitter like Hoskins, who actually once led the league in walks, will work himself into more hitters counts. So I like Hoskins to record a hit tonight, even though, Christian Javier really favors more the left-handed batters.
Okay, so was there another one, or was that the one? I want to give you the platform here.
I've got 2 more for you. Okay, so if I'm going to keep looking at the hitters in the Phillies, I'll give it to you. Phillies, Bryce Harper, I think he's going to stay hot tonight. Harper's had a hit in every postseason game besides 2 of them. He's batting .382 in the post, which is mind-blowing. On-base percentage, 4 for 14. And during the regular season, he was batting .300 to right-handed pitchers. Javier, he's a righty. So that's what leads me to this. He leads the Phillies with 21 hits in the postseason, 13 RBIs. And the fact that you can still get Harper as the World Series MVP and plus money is absolutely amazing to me. So go grab that if you still can. If the Phillies win the World Series, Harper is going to be the MVP, no question. For tonight, I like Harper over 1.5 total bases. And the only reason I took that is because DraftKings just boosted it to plus 200. Normally, I wouldn't because I thought there'd be too much juice, but he's going to continue to be the hero tonight. I like over 1.5 total bases. And if you want to get fancy, you could take Harper to hit a home run. He ties Hoskins with 6 in the postseason. That's more than any other player on both teams, on the Astros or the Phillies. If you want to go on the other side of the ball, I can give you one more play I like as well. Pitcher prop, Philadelphia, giving Aaron Nolan the go. And thank God for the rain out in game 3 for the Phillies, because now Nola's back on 4 days rest, which is normal for him. During the regular season, Nola had some of the best command we saw in the game. In the post, that hasn't been the case. 4.57 ERA, game 1 against the Astros, 5 earned runs, 6 hits over 4 1/3. Tonight for the value, I like Nola over 4.5 hits allowed. It's at plus 100. The only thing that slightly worries me about this play is that the Phillies were able to rest their 2 best bullpen pitchers because of that easy victory they had last night over the Astros. Jose Alvarado and Sir Anthony Dominguez will both be ready to go. So if Nola isn't pitching super great, he could get the hook early. But I still like the value on Nola over 4.5 hits tonight.
Taylor Mathis, literally, I'm going to give you a round of applause right here. That was sensational, absolutely sensational. Really, seriously, it just a fountain of information right here. Very, very impressive. So here's the thing. You've got Houston winning the game tonight, but you've got all of these. Like you've got Harper, you've got Hoskins, you're actually, it's a Houston bet. You're taking the over on Nola's hits here that he allows.
Yes.
But so go into a little bit more about, and I know you know these numbers, but these numbers have been in my head ever since last night. The Phillies are 6-0 at home in the playoffs, averaging 7 runs per game at home in the playoffs. But I'm going Houston tonight. You're going Houston tonight. Are we crazy? Are we mad?
I think that we're going Houston tonight because, I hate saying this, leading into the World Series, on paper, the Astros are the better baseball team. But something I said I thought would be a factor heading into Philly, this series has gone from being, obviously, it's a 7-game series, but right now, Philly has the home field advantage because they tied the series 1-1 in Houston. So now these next 3 games have been in Philadelphia, and that crowd plays a big factor. My best bet yesterday was for the Houston Astros to score first. They didn't score, period. But I liked that because of the fact that I thought if they scored first, they'd be able to silence that crowd a little bit. And the Phillies just feed off the energy in that ballpark. I think that we're taking the Astros because it's the smart bet, I want to say, because we see what the Houston Astros have in that lineup, what kind of stuff they have on the mound. Christian Javier has been great in the postseason as well. He's a potential Cy Young candidate, in my opinion, for next year. So I think that we're leaning into thinking that, but it's hard to bet against the Phillies right now when they're playing the kind of baseball they are.
Taylor, it is. Now, let me explain. So, and I want to bounce this off you beyond just the World Series and what we're talking about right now in this vacuum, but overall. Okay, because we're all in the prediction space, all right?
Yes.
And we all take our predictions very seriously. I don't take myself seriously, but I take the work and research that goes into these predictions very seriously, and I know you do. And I know you do as well. So my pre-playoff prediction was Astros to win the World Series. I didn't know they would play Philadelphia. I just knew that Houston had the best overall roster in baseball, by far the best starting pitching in baseball, and an outstanding bullpen that Philly now has gone eye to eye with, but there's not an advantage for either side, right? But they got a great bullpen, okay? So, but the advantage with starting pitching was so vast for Houston over all of these other teams. That's why I went with Houston. And tonight, Taylor, we literally get the single game example of that prediction. I think Houston's starting pitching is better than Philadelphia's. Javier's on the mound. Nola's on the mound. So, all right, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, right? I'm going with Houston. This is literally the apex of my entire prediction tonight in Game 4. So what I want you to talk to the people about here, Taylor, is at what point do you feel like, I'm being too stubborn? I got to let go of this prediction. I got to let go of this month of analysis and just get with what I'm watching, that Philadelphia might be the better baseball team in this series. How do you manage that in your brain?
I think that you let go of those predictions after tonight in Game 4. The reason I'm saying that, if Philly wins tonight, I think it's done. I think it's over. I really thought leading into Game 3, I said whoever won Game 3 is who I thought was going to win the World Series. I picked Houston to win in 6 originally. Now I'm hedged that bet actually today, and I took the Phillies to now win the World Series outright, and the odds on that have just gotten way worse. I'm like, should have taken it right off the bat. Clearly, I wasn't expecting them to play like they have. I think we start to get rid of these predictions and manage more expectations that the Phillies are just a really good ball club. After tonight's game, especially, I think if Houston ties it up today, I think that Houston goes to being the favorites again for the rest of the World Series because of what we're seeing on paper. So this is becoming a way more competitive, better World Series than I expected. I really thought Houston was going to come in here and handle the Phillies, and that just has not happened. Bryce Harper's numbers in the postseason are mind-blowing, and he's been waiting for this opportunity forever. So I'm excited for him, and I've always been, I know a lot of people are big Bryce Harper haters, but I'm a huge Bryce Harper fan. I've always loved him. So I would love to see him get a World Series win. I would also, though, love to see Dusty Baker get a World Series win because I'm a giant Cubs fan. I loved when Dusty Baker was our manager way back in the day. So I'd love to see him get a ring too. So I'm a little bit torn with my fandom.
Totally understand. The great Taylor Mathis hanging out with Rick Hamley here on Bettor Sports Live. We are Bettor Sports Network. And we're talking about the World Series here, obviously. And I want to tell the people here how to follow you at TMath Sports. Really cool Twitter handle right there. Taylor Mathis, host, reporter, and of content for Superbook Sports, betting analyst for FTN Network. And so, Taylor, let's get into some prop bets here for tonight, or some. What did I want to go to here? Dun, 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 dun. No, I'm pardon me. I had a brain fart right there. It's been a long day. You mentioned how shocked you were. You mentioned how shocked you were about Game 3. I wanted to circle back to that last night. So I didn't think that going from Thor to Rangers Suarez was like a big advantage for Philly. Like, oh my God, they got so much luck from Mother Nature the night before. Well, as it turned out, Taylor, that kind of was true, right? I mean, Suarez was nasty, and so the rainout actually did pay off for Philadelphia, didn't it?
Definitely. I think that the rainout it's like almost God saying that it's the Phillies' year because of the fact now Nola's on regular rest tonight, pitching Game 4, which is huge. And because of the way they played yesterday, like I stated earlier, their bullpen got a bunch of rest as well. Something else that I love about this Phillies team, you have to look back on the fact that the Phillies fired their manager, Joe Girardi, mid-season and then brought in Rob Thompson to be interim manager. I think there's a big difference in the way the ball club was being managed. You have to look at somebody, third baseman Aaron Baum, who had a home run last night. He made the statement earlier this season, a lot of people remember where he said, I effing hate it here in Philadelphia, to being somebody who hits a home run last night. He's playing in the World Series for the Phillies. I think a lot of that has to do with managing. They got rid of the disciplinary in Girardi, and now they've got a guy who brought fun back into the game in Thompson, and he's managing his pitchers well. He's finding the strengths and where his hitters are at, and he's seeming to do it perfectly, especially when they're at home because they're undefeated.
What you just said right there brought back the thought bubble I had, and it was about Dusty Baker. And what I've found, Taylor, and I'm sure you have as well, we all want Dusty Baker to win a championship.
Yes.
Okay? We all do. Like, he's a great guy. I got to meet him, and not like get to know him, but meet him a couple of times, talk with him a couple of times at Turner Sports when he was an analyst over there in between jobs. And he's a great dude. By the way, like with makeup on and the IFB in his ear, he still had the toothpick. So, still rocking the toothpick. It's the best. He's an OG, man. He is literally an original gangster. Love him to death. So we all want him to win. But Taylor, he is not the best at managing his pitchers late in games. Let's go back to, oh God, so many games, so many concerts, Taylor. Was it Game 1 that he had the issues here in this series? But like he always gets in his own way.
He does. And as a Cubs fan, I was little when Dusty Baker was the manager for the Cubs. But I mean, nobody forgets being a Cubs fan back in 2003 and what happened. Obviously, there was more to that than the way that he was managing. Everything went downhill after Moises Alou, didn't touch the ball and all that happened. But a lot of Cubs fans can relate to how probably a lot of Houston Astros fans are feeling, in the sense they don't feel like Dusty Baker always manages his pitchers the best way that he possibly can. I think he left McCullers in too long last night as well. And I think a lot of Astros fans would agree with me there. He probably should have pulled him sooner. Hoping they have a little bit more luck on their side tonight with Javier on the mound. Nola hasn't been that great in the postseason, so that could play to an advantage. But I mean, I don't know, that these Phillies are just something else. It's crazy to me that they were the last team to make it into the NL wild card. And if the playoffs wouldn't have gotten expanded like they had this year, the Phillies would not even be in this position. And now we have them playing in the Fall Classic. So it's just mind blowing how that works. I also read something the other day that was crazy to me. The Phillies had to beat the Astros to clinch that NL wildcard spot in their final regular season game. They beat them in Houston 3-0. Nola pitched that game as well. So it's cool that they're playing the same team that got them into this position from the regular season. They also were supposed to lead off Major League Baseball this year with a series between the Astros and the Phillies. That also got rained out. And then we had Game 3 get rained out in the World Series. So weird how that kind of all works and is playing factors into this.
No doubt about it. Taylor, have you heard the reports? I read an NBC Sports article yesterday about the pitching rotations and how the rain out changed it all for Philly, right? Guy by the name of Jim Salisbury with NBCSports.com, Phillies insider. He wrote that Zach Wheeler is experiencing arm fatigue in his right arm, and Zach Wheeler had check it out, Jim's. It's like Salisbury, phonetically for you, but NBC Sports do it. If you want to read it, it was an outstanding article, like breaking it all down. But he wrote about Zach Wheeler having some arm fatigue. What? Arm fatigue in the World Series? Rob Thompson talked about this, and he put a quote in there about it, and Thompson was like, he's fine, it's arm fatigue. What do you mean he's fine, it's arm fatigue? It's October. He might have to pitch game 6. So
right.
I wanted to, if you hadn't heard that, let you know, and so you can dig into that maybe a little bit more. But again, that supports, if Houston can get by tonight, Taylor, that supports you and me hanging in there with Houston, because doesn't that kind of trip your brain out a little bit about Wheeler?
It does. It definitely does. And I have heard that. I read an article earlier today coming from Nola quoting that none of those Phillies are fatigued and they're fine and ready to go. It's the World Series. They'll do whatever they have to. And they also said they're very energized by the Phillies crowd. And I mean, who couldn't be? It is loud, and it was a sellout yesterday. I can't even imagine being there. I actually can, though, because I went to the World Series for the Cubs back in 2016. It was the best day of my entire life. Wow. So I'm like, I can attest to understanding a franchise that's been through a drought and is looking for a win. Hey, it's not even close to as long as a drought as I had with the Cubs, but I can still understand being a passionate sports fan and waiting for something like this, especially with a player like Bryce Harper, who's been there forever too. They're wanting him to be that guy who was going to turn things around for them. And this could be their year. I don't think I'm too worried about Zach Wheeler. He didn't start great in game 2. That's the only game now that Houston's taken from the Phillies. So I'd be interested to see what more comes out about that, especially after tonight's game. But I'm not too worried looking forward for Zach Wheeler and the Phillies.
So Taylor, take us a little bit more into, I'll just make this quick. I grew up in Minnesota, a Twins fan, went to the University of Minnesota, and I was literally in school when the Twins won their championships in 1987 and 1991. I remember partying my face off at Sigma Nu fraternity. I remember literally running down the main drag, which was, I don't know, 1.5 miles, 2 miles from our frat house to the Dome, okay, and like partying, and oh my God, it was some of the best nights of my life. Best thing ever, right? And so I still kind of hang in there as a Twins fan, despite all the choky behavior in the playoffs, because they gave me 2 rings, right? But take us into, you said, best day of your life, 2016, Cubs winning the World Series. Like, take us more into that.
Yeah, well, first of all, I didn't know that you were also a Big Ten grad. I went to Iowa, so we've got
next door neighbors.
Yeah, and I'm from Illinois, so we're both Midwesterners too. So I love that. But I grew up a giant Cubs fan, mainly because my mom's dad, my grandpa, my papa, I call him, He took my sister, me, and my younger cousin Austin to a Cubs game. I was the oldest. When I was 6, they were both 4. I think he thought that my cousin Austin, being the only boy, was going to be the one that was very, very into the game. And it ended up being me that was very into it. And I was just so obsessed. He taught me how to do a scorecard. And I just thought it was the coolest thing. So then I started getting my own scorecards, and I would watch the games at home and I would fill out my scorecards. So I grew a huge fandom for the Cubs over time. Then, of course, in the early 2000s, we were pretty decent. That led more to it. And then as I got older and I decided I wanted to go to school for sports journalism, my grandpa was always the biggest pushing factor for me to do that because of my love of baseball, really is where it started. And then it was really cool because it came full circle when the Cubs were in the World Series. My uncle is a giant Dodger fan, and they have season tickets to the Dodgers. When the Cubs beat the Dodgers to get to the World Series, he called me up and said that he had gotten tickets for all of us to go to he called me saying that he had 5 tickets to go to the World Series in Wrigley for, I think it was games 4, 5, 6. I believe it was 4, 5, 6. I could be wrong. Maybe it was one of those. But he had tickets for the games. And I didn't expect that he was going to have me go. I knew he'd probably take my grandparents. And then I was like, maybe my uncle, because he's always been a giant Cubs fan. I wasn't really sure. And he was like, would you want to go to the game with your Noni and Papa and I? And I cried. I was so excited. Aww. I was like, oh my gosh, yes. So they came. He flew in from LA, picked me up. We stayed up in the city, up in Chicago for the entire, pretty much all the games leading up to the games that we were going to. And I got to spend it with my grandparents, who took me to my first Cubs game. And then I got to experience the World Series with them. So I couldn't ask for anything better. And it's a memory that I will have for the rest of my life. So I have a very deep love for the sport of baseball.
That's amazing. It really is. What a great piece of storytelling right there. Do you play fantasy baseball, Taylor?
I do not. I do not play fantasy baseball, only fantasy football.
You don't play fantasy baseball? Do you want to play fantasy baseball?
I would be open to it. I think my biggest thing when it comes to baseball is I enjoy it so much, but then of course with work too, I'm constantly focusing on player props, and my specialty during the regular season of baseball was very heavily pitcher props. So I focused on K props, outs props, earned runs, and hits allowed a lot, not as much batters props, which when you get into the postseason, I look a lot more at batters props just because there's more availability and you don't have as many pitchers to look at as you do in the regular season. So just better value in some places and gives me more of an opportunity than just 2 pitchers with 2 strikeout props. So I feel like because of the way I bet and everything with baseball and how heavily involved I am in it, I worry that playing fantasy baseball would like take away from my research looking at baseball props, but I'm open to maybe trying next season.
Okay, so I am pondering, leaning towards starting up a dynasty league for baseball.
Yes.
I've done it in football. I won the league last year. It's year 2 of this year. I started a basketball league this year, a dynasty basketball league. There's 14 teams. I'm a huge dynasty player. Not even trying to put you on the spot. You don't have to answer now. But I'm thinking about doing this dynasty league. Would you want me to put you on the waiting list?
I am in for the waiting list if you're going to do it this upcoming season.
So I shouldn't even call it a waiting list, right? It's not like we have the 14 or we have the 12. No, I just meant, all right, I'll put you on the list and I'll stay in touch with you about that. I think I'm going to do it. I'm not 100% sure. But Taylor, before we let you go, tell the people where to watch you, where to hear you, where to read you.
Yes. Okay. So you can follow me on social media, TMass Sports on everything. All of my content for Superbook Sports is on all of their platforms. Fantasy Television Network hosts a betting show that is all NFL related on Fridays, as well as Monday Night Football and Thursday night stuff as well. And then tonight on Wednesdays, right after this, I'm on with Sports Grid, and we are doing a World Series special on there tonight as well. So I will be doing that too.
Taylor, you are a treat. Your information's fantastic. Your personality's out of sight. And we will talk soon, okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sounds good.
All right. Taylor Mathis right there at TMass Sports. Fantastic guest. So, guys, we love storytelling here, right? So, the Twins back in 1987, when they won that championship, Kirby Puckett, Gary Gaetti, Ken Herbeck, Tom Brunansky, Frank Viola, Juan Berenguer, Jeff Reardon, all these guys. One of my favorite teams in any sport. Look, I'm still on Houston until, well, I shouldn't say until, and like Taylor said, like tonight's the night. Like I asked her, like, at what point do you wrestle between being stubborn and hanging into the prediction and let it go and, get with, and she's mentioned like, after tonight, same vibe as me. Like, trust me, I had inclinations, I had vibes, I had thoughts about flipping over to Philadelphia. It's like, I can't do it. I can't. I won't. And so it's really funny that we both have the same sensibility on that. Like we're on the brink of giving up, but we're not quite there yet. So still going to hang in there with that sort of prediction born a month ago. But if Philadelphia does this, okay, there is literally a connection that can be drawn back to 1987 in the Minnesota Twins. And here is that connection. The Minnesota Twins that year were a sub 90 win team. Okay. They played Detroit and then played St. Louis in the and they only had basically the ALCS or NLCS and then the World Series. They only had 2 rounds. And that was back in the dark days, right? Only 2 teams on each side. It was like a Final Four. How stupid is that? Like, can we have some more teams invited to the playoff party? But nevertheless, they beat Detroit, and then they beat, and this was a badass Detroit team. I believe Kirk Gibson was on that team, Alan Trammell and Lou Whitaker and Darrell Evans and Jack Morris and Doyle Alexander, is the name coming? Was he on that team? But the Detroit team was definitely better than the Twins. No question about it. But the Twins beat them. And the Twins won every home game in that series. And I believe they won a couple games at Detroit. So they get to the St. Louis series in the World Series, right? That was a St. Louis year. That was in the 80s. That was Willie McGee and Ozzie Smith and all these fantastic players. I think Vince Coleman was on that team. Tommy Herr. You remember a lot of these names too. That St. Louis, Whitey Herzog was their manager, right? That was a badass Cardinals team. And that was a very, very great vintage of Cardinals baseball. Well, the Twins beat them. And they beat them. They lost all 3 games in St. Louis, and they won all 4 games in Minnesota. And it's so long ago. I think they alternated years for home field advantage in the World Series or something like that, because the Twins did not have a better record than St. Louis, but they had 4 home games in the World Series, and that's why they won the World Series. Is because you couldn't beat the Twins at home. You remember the old Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome, right? With the gray ceiling of the dome. Dudes were losing the baseball in the ceiling all the time. It was a major home field advantage. It was actually a joke. It was a gimmick. You remember that? How many outfielders you see them like, I lost the ball. I don't know where the ball is. And it lands like 5 feet beside them, right? And then they go and get it and they throw, and the guy's already at second base. I mean, it's like is this a movie? Is this Major League Baseball? Like, this is kind of crazy. But as a guy, as a Twins fan, I wasn't complaining, right? Seeing all these other outfielders out there struggling with these like basic, literally can of corn fly balls, and they're landing for doubles and triples. It was awesome. It was totally unfair. The other thing is, at the Dome, they'd have these speakers hanging down from the top of the roof, and if you hit like a really massive high pop fly, it would literally hit the speaker and come back into play. And the Twins outfielders got good at sort of playing that. And they would literally and then they would catch it as it bounced off the speaker. I don't know why they allowed that, but they did. It was crazy, man. But those are just great memories, man. Great, great memories of those Twins teams winning. And by the way, the Astros got a little something cooking here in the second inning. Kyle Tucker got a double, and it looks like he just stole third base. Kyle Tucker is now on third base, 90 feet away, as they say. It's fielder's choice here. It was a grounder to third, and he threw it over. Wow, boom. That's a tough spot for the third baseman right there, because Tucker was way off the bag and looking and lurking, and as soon as Bohm threw the ball to first base, Tucker went to third base. but if you're Bohm and you wait too long, then the guy, hitting the ball to you might not get him out at first. That was a tough spot for Bohm right there, and really, really smart base running by Kyle Tucker. So it's Vasquez in the box right now, 1 out, and Nola on the mound. Nola's pitch count, kind of high, folks. It's kind of high. He's got 1 out in the second inning. His pitch count's at 25. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun with Taylor Mathis, man, and she's absolutely awesome. Let me read some of these comments out here by my people. Hey, you know what? I got to write this down. I will give you a little bit of a Shaq imitation later too. I can't imitate Shaq. I'm gonna write that down there. By the way, they just hit Vasquez, and he did a good job of leaving the elbow out there. He didn't put the elbow out, come hit my elbow, but he didn't move the elbow out of the way either. Smart move there by Vasquez. And Nick Durst says, get Rick a pen and paper sponsorship. You're damn right. I'll tell you what the best pens in the world are, Nick Durst. The best pens in the world. And let's see if you can see it right there. Yeah, you can. The Pilot G207, the best pen. Absolutely the best pen. These are my notes on week 9 in the NFL. And so I'm big with the paper and the pen. Big with it. I could sponsor this right here. It's the Pilot G207. I just screwed it up. The Pilot G207. Rick Kamla, Better Sports Live. It's fully endorsed. And so it could be Pilot G207 is the official ink pen of Better Sports Network. Matt Deutsch, let's work this out. Let's get this popping, man. I'm not a marketer. I'm not. Until I am. I think I just was. I don't know. Nick Durr says, love the gel pens. I like the ink pens. You got this cool little rubber thing right here. It feels good in your hand. I don't know. And it writes real smooth. I dig these pens. My wife turned me on to these pens. And I like it. So, all right, what do I want to do here? I'm kind of all over the place right here. What do I want to do? All right, I tell you what, we're in a break zone anyway here. Let me tell you what happens on this pitch right here. It'll be pitch number 29 for Aaron Nola. And then I want to come back, spin around the NBA a little bit, and we'll start getting into some NFL stuff as we look ahead to week 9. So 0-2, and did he go? Looked like he might have gone. He didn't go. And that was Aledmus Diaz. He is in the lineup today for the Astros. And on that 2-strike pitch, he checked it up, and it was a check. It was kind of close, but the Astros have a little rally going here on Nola. Pitch 30 coming from Nola, 1st and 3rd with 1 out in Game 4 of the World Series. Bagel on the scoreboard. We'll go to break after this pitch right here. Nola pitch the ball. Let's see. It's a bit of a hanging curveball right there, swung on and fouled off by Diaz. And so he lives. A 1-2 pitch coming up here. Again, 1 out, top of the second, 2 on, and Bagel on the scoreboard here in Game 4, which both me and Taylor Mathis agree is going to determine who wins this World Series. If the Stros get out of here with a win, they're going to win the series. If the Phillies win tonight and go up 3-1, they're going to win the World Series. So when we come back, we'll start getting into we'll look around the NBA tonight. We'll start getting into Week 9 in the National Football League. You're in a good spot with Rick Kamla on Better Sports Live.
This is Better Sports Live. Better Sports Live with Rick Kamla. That's 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific on Better Sports Network.
Andy Reid is the best current coach in the NFL. He's better than Belichick. Belichick has lost his way. He's better than Tomlin. He's better than Harbaugh. He's better than Shanahan. He's better than McCarthy down in Dallas. He's better than all of the gangster NFL coaches right now. Sean McDermott up in Buffalo, he's better than all these guys. Andy Reid is the greatest gangster that we have at head coach in the NFL right now. And I understand that you're saying, well, Belichick is the GOAT, Cam. How can that be true? Now you're bringing up old stuff. Bill Belichick can't draft anymore, okay? Talk to me. Nick Chubb, Sony Michel. Talk to me. DK Metcalf, Debo Samuel versus N'Keal Harry. Okay, talk to me. This dude has lost his way. Remember the year when he should have bottomed out and just tanked, but he couldn't, and he went and got Cam Newton, and they were a mediocre team, right? He's lost his way. And not that he can't coach up a good defense and that kind of thing, but overall, he's lost his way. Andy Reid's an absolute badass. They draft great. He's a great coach. Makes the right decisions, when to go for it, when to kick, when to punt. The guy's the man.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis Presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
I hate the stupid unsportsmanlike conduct. As long as you're not disrespectful to the opponent, you should be allowed to celebrate.
How I used to say it, and to bring up, because now basketball starting to bring up personal.
Oh, dude, it's even worse than basketball, isn't it?
So Dikembe Mutombo, who used to get teed up in the 2000s, in the 90s, they didn't give a crap. 2000s, though, when they tightened up the rules, they used to tee him up more when he did the Dikembe finger wag. But they wouldn't tee him up if he did it to the crowd instead of looking at like Eton Thomas, like one time I remember, and doing it right to him, or when his back was turned, doing it right to him. If he did it to the crowd, they would never call it. And so that makes me wonder if these players, while, yeah, they want to talk a little smack, maybe they should flex towards the crowd than at the player who they're standing over.
I guess.
I know it's soft, man.
It is soft.
Because you know what?
Like we're gonna give 15 yards for that,
bro. They think that, you know, want to know why they're paranoid? They think that's gonna turn into a fight.
See, I disagree with that. That's not going to start a fight.
I agree with you. They don't agree with us.
It's one thing, okay, if you spit in someone's face or say something derogatory, like about their family or something,
right.
Yeah, that can incite it. But if you're just like, yeah, I made that play, what? You know what I mean? Like, again, they know the rules. You got to know you're going to get flagged. You have to have discipline. But, like, I don't know. I have no problem with celebration as long as it's not disrespectful.
What's disrespectful? You know,
it's interpretation, and that's my problem. Watch, it's going to cost someone in a big playoff game, and that's when people are going to go crazy. There'll be a third down play. Someone makes a pass breakup, and they're in someone's face. They're going to throw a flag. It'll extend the drive. That team scores, wins the playoff game because of it. You need something drastic for it to really leave an imprint, and I hope that doesn't happen to mine.
Bettor Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better. Bettor Sports Live with Rick Kama on Bettor Sports Network.
All right, Aaron Nola got out of the jam, folks. He is free of the Astros in the top of the second inning. He struck out Diaz and ended up getting out of the inning there. But the Astros did mount a little bit of a rally. Runners on first and third with one out, and Nola with some deft pitching got out of it. And so the Astros right now and the Phillies tied at 0-0 heading into the bottom of the second inning. And we are at about 8:36 p.m. Eastern time. And a lot of the games are at halftime in the NBA. Some of them are final. Washington went into Philadelphia on World Series night here and beat the 76ers 121-111. There you go, Bradley Beal. 29 big ones. Let's go. Porzingis had 30. They were fantastic tonight. Kuzma had 18. So they're big three cooking in this one. Maxey did go over his number. I'm telling you, this guy is absolutely money for you when Joel Embiid does not play. Remember this. Make a note of it. Put it in a calendar on your phone. I don't know what you got to do. If Joel Embiid does not play, here's what you do. Moving forward, you got alerts on your phone and notifications and all this kind of stuff. Or you go to Roto World, you follow the news, you see maybe a thing on Twitter, Joel Embiid not playing tonight, flu-like symptoms or sore knee or load management or whatever. A light bulb needs to go off in your brain. It's time to play the over on Tyrese Maxey's point prop. I'm telling you, it's a layup. He averaged 36 points per game in 2 games without Embiid coming in. He scored 32 points tonight. He shot well over 50% in all of these games. He was 5 of 9 from 3 tonight, 11 of 20 from the field tonight. He was sensational. All 3 games without Joel Embiid. Tyrese Maxey has gone off. He had 44 in one of the games. So we're not claiming that one because we came on the air at 7. That game tipped off at about 6:10. So I had a time kind of screw up with that. But anyway, I wanted to let you know about that and remind you of that once again. That is a very, very important thing to remember when Joel Embiid is out to play Tyrese Maxey's over. So we had Trae Young under 28.5, and he is actually right on the number right now at halftime. He's at 15 points, 6 of 17. Trae Young, pass the ball, bro. Seriously. Come on, man. He took 17 shots in the first half of this basketball game in a game where he's not hot. That's making it too much about you. I don't like that. I don't like that. The Knicks lead 65-57 at halftime here. I don't like that. If you are cooking, if he was 10 of 17 and had 22 points, I get it. Let him fly. But when you're not having a good night and you're basically in a 33% shooting night, 6 of 17, damn, that's crazy. 17 shots in the first half for Trae Young in a bad shooting night for him. Wow. He's making it personal. It's me against the Garden. Okay, that you're not going to win a basketball game that way. You're not. Trae, you're a point guard. He has 3 assists in this game. DeJounte Murray has 2 assists in this game. They've taken 31 shots combined, 14 for Murray, and he's cooking. He's got 23 points. But, fellas, you can't do this by yourself. I feel like Nate McMillan in the locker room at halftime right here. Do you guys think Trae Young and DeJounte Murray taking 40 shots tonight? No, pardon me, 60 shots tonight for the game is a formula for success for the Hawks? I don't. By the way, they have 0 bench points tonight, the Atlanta Hawks. For the Knicks, 4 players in double figures. See, this is what I'm talking about. You've got Brunson with 12 and Randall with 11 and Barrett with 10 and off the bench Toppin with 10. Okay, spread it around, get a lot of people involved, and that's how you get this done. And so, all right, we're right there on the number with Trae Young. We shall see. Let's check on Domantas Sabonis right here in the Sacramento and Miami game. This one's at the half as well. Miami leads 53-51. No Jimmy Butler tonight because, of course, he loves missing games. It's a load management game, but Jimmy Butler misses way too many games for me. Way too many games. He played like 55 games last year. These guys are out there talking, I should be all NBA. I should be on the all defensive team. No, the hell you shouldn't. You're missing like half the year. What? Oh, so it's the Mike Trout Invitational. Doesn't matter how many games you play, your reputation just wins you an award. With your boy, Mike Trout. Mike Trout's overrated, people. I have a lot of unpopular opinions. Guacamole sucks. Sour cream sucks. Cream cheese sucks. The Beatles are overrated. Mike Trout is overrated. Aaron Rodgers is overrated. I got a lot of unpopular opinions, man. A ton of them. They just ooze out of me. And I have fun with them. You know why? Because they bother you. That's why. I get sadistic satisfaction out of that. Yes, I do. All right, let's go to Domantas Sabonis right here. He is not at the number at halftime, but he's well on his way to hitting this number for us. He's got 11 points in the first half. And as I said, he would be the hub of the offense. And he has been. He's taken the most shots on this team. He has 3 assists. He's got 11.7 rebounds and 3 dimes in the game. This is a Demo game. He's on pace for 22, 14, and 6. That's a Demo game, okay? Because De'Aaron Fox is out tonight. By the way, I knew I should have gone under on this number. Davion Mitchell was at 15.5. I was like, whoa, 15.5. Slow down, Las Vegas. I know De'Aaron Fox is out. I know Mitchell's going to enter the starting lineup, but damn, slow down. He's got 2 points at halftime. I don't like playing unders on a 15.5 number, though, right? It's just not kind of how I roll. But I had a vibe on that. And so anyway, but Domantas Sabonis looking good. Trae Young is kind of flat. Sabonis looking good. Let's go to the Milwaukee and Detroit box and check in on Brook Lopez and Jaden Ivey. This game is early second quarter here. Detroit trailing Milwaukee 31-26 right now. Jaden Ivey, he's got 5 points. So he's in good shape right here. 5 points. And again, we're 10:26 to go in the second. He hasn't even started his second shift of the game. And he's at 5 points. I like that. I like that a lot. Brook Lopez, same deal. His first shift, he scored 5 points. They're on the same number, 13.5 that we're going over. And Javier just Cade Nick Castellanos on a nasty slider. It was like a Michael Jordan fadeaway jump shot from right to left. Actually, that was a curveball. My bad. To the naked eye there, I thought it was a slider. That was a curveball, but it eluded the bat of Castellanos, and that was nasty. So Brook Lopez, 13.5. Jaden Ivey, 13.5. We're on pace to hit the over in those. Let's check on Paul George. Gave you the has that game tipped off yet? Yes, it has. They are early second quarter down in Houston, and the Clippers lead 36-30. Paul George, we need 24.5. He's at 8. So he's tracking towards his number. Matter of fact, he's probably just about to start his second shift of the game here. His second quarter run, he's at 8 points. Okay, you multiply 8 by 4, we're at 32. We need 24.5. So Paul George, well on pace to hit his number. Let's see about San Antonio and Toronto. We give you Jakob Poeltl at 14.5. Let's check in on Jakob Poeltl. Again, do you know who he is? We are early second quarter. Once again, about 9 minutes to go in the second quarter. Poeltl has 4 points from his first shift in the first quarter, and his second quarter shift is coming up here. He's at 4 points. Again, you multiply 4 by 4 for 4 quarters. We're at 16 points. We got to get to 14.5 for Jakob Poeltl, so we're on pace there. And then finally, Ja Morant is later on tonight. That's a 10 o'clock game as the Grizzlies take on the Portland Trailblazers out in the Great Northwest. So off to a pretty good start here once again. I'm telling you right now, I'm like, I got to find a way to try to like get some bang for the buck here because I'm gigging here. I'm on the air and we're doing this, but dang, I want to try to make some money with this because your boy is hot. Your boy is hot like fire with these NBA prop bets. And then a really intriguing game, which, by the way, I need to record this game. I want to watch this later after I get off the air. The Boston and Cleveland game, which is on ESPN right now. I got the homies, Cleveland. I got to keep my eye on the homies. And I love Cleveland. I love that team. I'm not like a Cavaliers fan. Oh, my God. I'm back when Austin Carr was playing, right? I was a Cavs fan. No, I'm not going to sing you that song. But ever since Evan Mobley's been on that team, they've been a team of interest for your boy, and I like them. I like what they got going on. Darius Garland came back tonight, which is obviously great news for Cleveland, and it's a big boy matchup with the Boston Celtics, man. So wanted to record that. So we got that going on. But right now, let's check in on the game. It's at halftime, and the game is in Cleveland, and Boston leads at 56-50. Jaylen Brown well on pace to hit his prop number. He's at 16 points. I believe his number was 22.5. Tatum was at like 26, and I stayed off of it. He did not play well against Cleveland last year, and it caused me to steer away from Tatum. Again, I don't like playing unders. I like finding opportunities to go over because this guy, I don't like rooting against Jason Tatum all night. And I find, I don't know. It's not like we've got our sweet spots, right? We've got our sweet spots, and this is my sweet spot. NBA prop bets and finding low numbers that we can go over. It's just my sweet spot. And I'm big on numbers. I'm big on like percentages in terms of mine looking very good and excellent. So I'm not going to like deviate from what works for me. And that's why we continue to go back to guys over and over and over. Kevin Durant, Ja Morant, Jaden Ivey, Tyrese Halliburton. These are names you hear me talking about all the time. It's because their props are too low in Las Vegas. And we continue to bang them and hit them. So Tatum and Brown doing what they do. They're both in double figures here. Boston leads by 6 at halftime. Brogdon starting to get hot a little bit for Boston. He had 20 in his last game. He's at 11 here. And Darius Garland has come back and honestly kind of thrown off the Cavs here a little bit. And you said, what do you mean by that? So when a star player comes back, there is a recalculation that has to take place with the guys who have been playing. And you think about Cleveland, they're 5-1 right now. They've been playing really, really well without him. I'm not saying something stupid like they're better without Darius Garland. I'm just saying they've been winning without him. And now when you bring him back, everything changes. Donovan Mitchell has the ball less. Other guys may get the ball less because Garland is there taking shots. And it just throws it off. And maybe it's only a one-half thing. But Darius Garland is absolutely cooking here in the first half. 17 points, 4 assists, 3 steals, 4 threes, 5 of 11 from the field. All of that in 17 minutes. Donovan Mitchell, on the other hand, who's been going like right around 30 and 10 every game. He's really had to be 2 players for the price of 1. He's taking a back seat tonight. He's 3 of 10 from the field. He's got 8 points. He's got 3 dimes. Evan Mobley, I looked at his prop and thought about going over. I'm glad. I thought differently about that. Wait a minute. Oh, he's in foul trouble. Okay, thank God. I was like 8 minutes. Whoa, did he get hurt? No, he's in foul trouble. 3 fouls. So glad I didn't go there. And again, I'm big on head-to-head splits. So in like how you're traversing into a game and all that kind of stuff. But like for Evan Mobley, how did he do against Boston last year? Not good. Okay, I'm staying off his prop tonight. How did Jason Tatum do against Cleveland last year? Not good. Okay, I'm staying off his prop tonight. Jakob Poeltl, how did he do against Toronto last year? He killed him. Boom. That's our spot. Let's go. I like to feel good that this is a good matchup for the guy. And you combine it with how the guy's playing right now. and other factors as well. But that's one of the tools of the trade for your boy Cam is what I just said. Knowing how this guy did against this team, last year, or as we move on to the season, I'm going to want to know, like in March, okay, how has Tatum played against Cleveland so far this year? 2 meetings, 3 meetings, whatever it is. It's super important stuff because basketball is all about matchups. Really, every sport is about matchups. So you got to know the matchups. Let me see some of the comments out here. Dave Poland saying, Pirtle is killing him on the glass. Raptors are a donut. He also says Spurs played a fast pace. I got screwed. Sorry about that, Dave. I want you winning out there, man. Nick Durr says Beatles are terrible. Wow. I won't go terrible, Nick, but they're not my cup of tea. I think they're very boring, and their music is not timeless. And I understand their impact on rock and roll and music. I do, but I'm not. I don't know. I think they're overrated. I really do. Love Me Do. Do you guys want to hear that song? Tyler Soto and Anthony Rivera. You guys going to come back from the next break with Love Me Do? Seriously, is that what we're doing here? I don't want to hear that song. What else? Hey Jude. The song is so boring, man. It's like I need a Red Bull. You're putting me to sleep, bro. Like, is this rock and roll? Is this a ballad? Is this Mr. Rogers time? I don't know. Like, I'm not with it, man. I'm not with it. I love hanging out with you guys here. Hit join the show, by the way. We want you to be interactive. If you want to come on and talk to me, hang out a little bit, you can. You can upgrade the whole interactive thing if you want. The show is for you, by the way. We want your interaction. Hit the call button right next to the fun button, and then you've got an audio or video option here, or both, I presume. And you can come on in here and talk with your boy. But that's there for you. See what else you guys are saying here. Nick Durr saying playing under on RJ Barrett made threes and Justin Fields completions. That's what he's going under on. Let's see here. Dave Poland says, I need to bet college basketball. Let me just shift it on me here. I need to bet college basketball against distracted young college players that will never be professionals. NBA is all professionals, no bad teams to bet against. Maybe later in the season, but not now. I can tell you right now, Dave and everybody, I will not be offering up college basketball betting advice until the NCAA tournament. I can tell you that right now. Perhaps in the conference tournaments, but I'm an NBA guy, and I watch NBA when a lot of other people are watching college basketball. And if I'm not watching, then I don't know it enough, and I'm not going to dive into that pool. So that will be, you're going to have to go somewhere else for that. My guy, Tom Casale, our guy, Tom Casale, he's huge into college basketball betting and all that kind of stuff. And so we'll talk with him about it. But that you got to know your strengths, you got to know your weaknesses. And I watch college basketball here and there. Really, what I do is I pick a player or two, not more than that though, and I watch those guys. And the only other college basketball I consume is through the games I'm watching with those guys. So, and I don't even know who the top guys are right now. I know it's Victor Wembanyama and Scoot Henderson. Neither of them are in college basketball. So I don't know who that best college basketball player is. I don't. I got time. Season hasn't started yet. And guys are going to be on the NBA radar and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know who my lab experiment players are yet, but I will have a couple, and I DVR games. Like North Carolina comes to mind, right? Everybody's talking about how good they're going to be this year, and they're number one in the country and all this kind of stuff. So they may be my lab experiment team. And I may just get on North Carolina this year. Last year, I was on Duke for Paolo Banchero and Coach K's final season, right? So I watched a ton of Duke basketball last year. But that's how I watch college basketball. It's very selective. It's on my own time. I don't watch it live. It's all off the DVR. So that's just that's what's up, man. Nick Durr says college basketball doesn't matter till March. I understand what you're saying. I mean, I'm a guy that bristles when people say I don't start watching the NBA until Christmas. The NBA doesn't matter until Christmas. I freaking hate that narrative. What do you mean, bro? It's a third of the season. You're flushing a third of the season just because it's football season? I mean, I get it. I'm not asking you to watch the NBA on Sunday afternoon or on Monday night. I'm not. Do your thing. Can you watch the NBA on Tuesday night or Wednesday night or Friday night or Saturday night? Why not? What better is on out there? The NBA is fabulous. Very dramatic. Just look at Brooklyn. Nick Durr says, my favorite part of the NBA season to watch is the offseason. Oh, Nick. Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something, Nick Durst. I hear that a lot. And what I have found, it's so funny you say that. And especially working on SiriusXM NBA radio Monday through Friday, which is very news cycle-ish, right? We're always playing the hits and talking about the top stories. And the Lakers are very prominent, and the Nets are very prominent, and James Harden and Joel Embiid and all the big guys, right? Because it moves the needle. It generates calls. It's fun to talk about. The debates are germinated out of all of that. So that's what we do. And I have found that some of the offseason shows, when it comes to the draft, when it comes to free agency, when it comes to trades, when it comes to the rumor mill, are absolutely fabulous. And this is in the dead of night with no games. This is like August. Okay. So look, the NBA offseason is undefeated. The NBA offseason is the best offseason, in my opinion. The NFL offseason is hot for a minute, and then it cools, and it just goes away. And then everybody forgets about the NFL for like 2 months. Like May and June, after the draft, it's like, poof. Oh, rookie minicamp. Ooh, rookie minicamp. Ooh, I'm so excited about rookie minicamp. No, I'm not excited about rookie minicamp. It's football players in T-shirts and shorts. Oh, he looks so impressive at rookie minicamp. Whoosh, flush it. Doesn't mean a damn thing. For me, are they wearing helmets and pads in hitting? Are they? Okay. Then I will take a report with somewhat of a grain of salt. Or I don't know, 2 grains of salt as opposed to a grain of salt. Any old way. Nick Durst says, I like the MLB offseason. I don't, because it's never ending. Like, you never know. Guys go the whole offseason. And then like right in spring training or right before spring training, guys are signed. I like the NBA. Okay. They come out. It's July 7, whatever it is. And bam, 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 bam. It is 2 weeks of fireworks. Okay. And then it's rumors and speculation and all that kind of stuff. But baseball, it's so random. Like, I don't know, on like a Saturday night, you'll get so-and-so signed a 5-year, $180 million contract. It's so random and so weird and so spread out over the entire offseason. I'm not a fan. I also don't like the fact that power hitters who used to make all the money, like, can't get jobs now. Think about Schwarber and Castellanos, how long it took them to sign. Philadelphia signed them, and thank God they did. They're on the World Series because of that, mostly because of Schwarber, because Castellanos did not have a good regular season at all. Schwarber obviously led the NL in home runs. Like I said, I love hanging out with you guys and getting your comments here and reacting to them. Bettor Jalen. Is that Jalen with a new handle, or is that a new Jalen in here? I love seeing new people in here. Maybe Jalen. Yeah, it is Jalen. He changed his handle to Bettor Jalen, which I like. It's better with the O, just like us at Bettor Network. I see what you did there, Jalen. That's really cool. All right, I tell you what, we got to take a break right here. We're going to come back and do the giveaway of the Shaquille O'Neal signed Hall of Fame basketball, 9 o'clock Eastern tonight, right around the corner here, okay? Follow at Bettor Network, okay? Follow at Bettor Network on Twitter. Retweet the Shaq Hall of Fame basketball signature tweet so everybody knows about it, okay? And you're spreading the word for us here. Retweet that post. And you downloaded the app and you're listening. That's all you have to do. So at the top of the hour, we will give away the Shaq signed Hall of Fame basketball with your boy Rick Kamler right here on Bettor Sports Live.
This is Bettor Sports Live. Bettor Sports Live. Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just banning the porn bots real quick.
Whenever the porn bots, I will say, dude, whenever the porn bots show up, it means we're doing something good. It means that we're showing up. So, you know, they wouldn't find us if we weren't, if the live stream wasn't good. So, you know what? We welcome you here. Tinder-hot-.xyz-best adult dating site. One of our biggest fans.
I detach all of my self-worth to how many porn bots come into our show in the morning. If we don't get any porn bots, I go the rest of the day thinking like, what did I do wrong? Why didn't Tinder-xyz.com want to hang out with me this morning?
Yeah. People ask, how was the show? I'm like, not that good.
No porn
bot showed up.
Moose and Keith, weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Because I never asked you this. When I was growing up, when did Noah first where you got a sense that this is what my son wanted to do?
I was really busy during his formative years. I didn't meet Noah until he was about 19.
Nice. So your wife did a good job.
Yeah, you may want to talk to him. I would say about first visit, he started showing a legitimate interest. He started getting curious about how I prepared, what it required. And then I saw a little bit of a shift, 14, 15, where he was concentrating on the on-cameras, the interaction between play-by-play and analyst, and started probably taking mental notes at that point of the performance aspect of, okay, you do all this prep, but you got to go out and deliver it. So yeah, probably that 14, 15 range, I thought to myself, this could be something he really wants to do.
Better Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better.
Y'all, so we are back. It is Rick Kamla, and we have a giveaway right here. It is a Shaquille O'Neal signed Hall of Fame basketball, and the winner is, folks, Nick, and he is the Gonzo86 on Twitter. Nick, congratulations! You have won an awesome piece of memorabilia, the best, in my opinion, that we've given away on my show. This is. Like, it's cool. Like, we gave away a Garrett Wilson signed full-size Jets helmet last night. Awesome piece. 2 nights ago, Bryce Harper signed baseball. Awesome piece. Shaquille O'Neal is already in the Hall of Fame, right? You already know that's a really valuable piece. A top 10 guy all time, in my opinion, and I'll explain in a minute. But this is outstanding, man. So congratulations to Nick at the Gonzo86 for hanging out with us here, following at Bettor Network, retweeting the Shaq autograph post. That is the good stuff right there, man. So let me do a little. I tell you what, I'll do Shaq play-by-playing the World Series right here for you real quick.
I do a pretty good Shaq imitation. I worked with Shaq. I've talked with Shaq a bunch of times. He's a great guy. It's bottom of the 3rd inning, 2-2 count, no outs. Javier against Segura. Is it John Segura or Jean Segura? Javier with the pitch. Fastball, 94 miles an hour. Fouled off by Segura. I got a Shaq imitation, folks. So, no, the imitation does not come with the basketball, but it comes with your boy Cam right here because I'm all about the skits and bits. So Shaquille O'Neal, as I'm going to sing you a song about the player involved with these giveaways. I personally know Shaq. I'm buddies with Shaq. Happy to say that. I'm privileged to be able to say that. Sean Segura with a fly ball to center field. McCormick under it. He makes the catch. 1 away in the bottom of the 3rd.
But he's 7th on my all-time list. For NBA players all time, Shaq is in my top 10 all time, safely in my top 10 all time. Shaq is behind. Number 1 is Michael Jordan. Number 2 is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Number 3 is LeBron James. Number 4 is Magic Johnson. Number 5 is Kobe Bryant. Number 6 is Tim Duncan. Number 7 is Shaq. Number 8 is Steph Curry. Number 9 is Bill Russell. And number 10 is Wilt Chamberlain. I have Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell are going to be tough to knock out of my top 10. They're going to be tough. I knocked Bird out of my top 10 to put Curry in my top 10 after Curry got his 4th ring. And that to me was just gigantic. Curry has a better dynasty than Bird had in Boston. He's got more rings. He's going to have better counting numbers than Larry Bird. He's going to play longer. Steph Curry is the greatest shooter in the history of the game. That was a title that used to be worn by Larry Bird, and he was maybe passed by somebody else, Reggie Miller, I don't know. But I know that Steph Curry has passed him and everybody in the shooting category. Everybody. How can the best shooter in the history of the NBA not be in the top 10 all time, especially when he's got 4 rings and 1 more than Larry Bird? But back to Shaq. The scoring, the rebounds, the shot blocking, the 4 championships, 15, 16 All-Stars, whatever it was. He's number 7 on my all-time list. And it's going to be tough to uproot Shaq out of that. And so let me play by play this one right here.
3-0 count, 1 out, bottom of the 3rd. Javier pitching to Marsh. It's low, ball 4. Marsh walks.
So he's number 7 on my all-time list. Let me tell you a quick story right here about Better Boss says Shaq Daddy. I can do a pretty good Shaq. If I hear Marv Albert, like if they came back with Marv and like a live call from him, then I could get into Marv Albert. It's weird though. I've got to hear him and then I can imitate him. I can't just. I probably could. Like let me just see here. Michael Jordan with the shot, and the Bulls take the win tonight against the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden. I still got a decent Marv. It helps when I hear him before I'm able to like. I don't know. It's just like a little thing that I got, a little voice thing that I got. I'm better when I hear Marv before just jumping into him. But storytelling about Shaq, okay? Because I got a lot of them. I hung out with this guy many, many times. Awesome guy, by the way. I can't, like Charles Barkley, awesome guy. Kenny Smith, awesome guy. Those guys are amazing, man. Absolutely amazing. They are the dudes, man. They could be arrogant, full of themselves, and total buttheads, man, but they're not. They're the exact opposite. Awesome guys. You know, the generosity of Shaq, the generosity of Charles. And I've heard some stories, like some behind the scenes stuff that I won't mention here, but it's just like, wow, those guys are just absolutely awesome. Total studs. All right. So I was interviewing Shaq at doing local radio in Atlanta. And it was me and John Michaels, and we had Shaq on. And I was somehow able to get Shaq for a phone interview. Like it's nearly impossible to get that done. And your boy was somehow able to get that done. And I asked Shaq, do you guys remember the 2001 NBA Finals when they played the Philadelphia 76ers? And do you remember the beating that Dikembe Mutombo took in that series? Remember that? All the elbow sandwiches that Shaq would just, and like drop step, bow to the face, layup or dunk, right? Nick Durr says, no. So I asked Shaq about this. I said, Shaq, why did you rough up Dikembe Mutombo so much? Why did you give him so many elbow sandwiches? Why were you so ruthless on Dikembe Mutombo in that series? And he said, and I quote, I had to turn him into Zimbabwe chicken. Shaq's words, not mine. He said that Dikembe said, is that a fair ball? That was a foul ball. Dikembe said going into that series, and Dikembe, a very, very proud player. And by the way, I got Dikembe stories too. I an entire flight back from Springfield to Atlanta. I was on the flight with Dikembe, and we sat in first class together, talked literally for 2 hours straight. Loved Dikembe Mutombo. But Shaq said that Dikembe said, I can guard Shaq one-on-one. I got him. No double teams. I got Shaq one-on-one. And Shaq heard that, and it pissed him off. And Shaq is telling us this story. And he said, Shaq was like, nobody can guard me one-on-one. Nobody. And so Dikembe said he thought he could guard me one-on-one. So I had to prove him wrong. And I had to turn him into Zimbabwe chicken. That's what Shaq said. Awesome story. And he did. And he did. He buried Dikembe Mutombo in that series. Dikembe Mutombo is one of the best centers of all time. One of the best rebounders of all time. One of the best shot blockers of all time. Come on, man. This is Shaq. This is Shaq in 2001. This is don't get the knees up and the basket's going to come down and crash to earth Shaq, right? By the way, shout out to Dikembe Mutombo, dealing with a major health issue right now. And, we got to keep him in our thoughts, keep him in our prayers, and hope he can come out of this, man. Had surgery recently in Atlanta. He's undergoing treatment right now. It's dangerous. It's scary. And so we gotta pour some love into Dikembe Mutombo, and hopefully just talking about him and bringing his name and speaking it into in existence is just sort of helping that whole process. Telling some Shaq stories here because we gave away a really dope piece of memorabilia. The winner of the Shaq basketball tonight is a guy by the name of Nick. He's at the Gonzo86 on Twitter. But Shaq, so I don't drink Red Bull anymore. I drink tea here for Bettor Sports Lab. Just took a sip right there. Oh, it's so delicious. My wife makes it for me, and it's, throw to second base here as Brandon Marsh was stealing, and looked like the tag might have been on his buttocks before his foot hit the bag. They called him safe. Let's take a look at a replay right here. It's Bagel, by the way, in this game. It was a good throw right on. I'm telling you, I need to slow it down, Fox. Damn. Right. Like, look, give me a slow-mo replay, not a fast-mo replay. All right. Get out of the way. Now he's in there. He's safe. Marsh was safe on that one. So a runner now on second base for the Philadelphia Phillies in the man of, by the way, Brandon Marsh's hair literally could not be greasier. His hair could not be greasier. It's kind of weird. Like, take a shower, bro. Like, every once in a while. I'm kidding. I've got jokes. I've got skits and bits. But I used to drink a lot of Red Bull, right? Because I had this daytime job in local Atlanta radio. And I had at 92.9 The Game, and I was on the air from 10 to 2. And then a lot of nights I was on NBA TV, either in like the 7 to 11 window or in like the 11 to like 2 or 3 in the morning window, the overnight window. And so your boy drank some Red Bull to keep it going, to keep the checks coming. And I was working on NBA TV one night with Shaq, and it's always like an absolute party in between the commercial breaks. He turns on music on his phone, and he's dancing and doing all this stuff and getting the stage manager and the camera operators going. It's some of the best nights of my life hanging out with Shaq on the set of NBA TV. And so one night he looked at what was in my cup. He's like,
Kamala, what do you got in the cup?
And I said, Shaq, it's Red Bull. He goes,
why do you drink Red Bull?
I go, because it gives you wings, Shaq. Red Bull gives you wings. And he kind of smirked a little bit. And he started calling me Kamala Juice. And he said,
Kamala Juice. I'm going to call you Kamala Juice.
For the Red Bull that I was drinking. And so every time I saw Shaq, he would be like,
Kamala Juice. How's the family?
Like, I love Shaq, man. Love him. So Kamala Juice. So it's probably my favorite nickname because Shaq gave me a nickname. How cool is that? A couple other things here. All right. So a couple other things. Shaq to this day is pissed that Steve Nash won that MVP over him. To this day, Shaq is pissed about that. Shaq asked, like, look, we'd be hanging out, and he'd literally ask, like,
Kamala, should Steve Nash have won MVP over me?
Hell no, Shaq. Even if I didn't believe it, I would say, hell no, Shaq. You absolutely should have won that MVP. But I want to tell you right now, vibrations of anger coming out of Shaquille O'Neal to this day about Steve Nash winning that MVP award over him. To this day. If you want to make Shaq mad, go up to him and remind him that Steve Nash has one of his MVP awards. Go ahead. Make my day. To this day, he's pissed off about that. So, and then one more thing here. One more thing. I can't even read my writing here. What did I write down here? Ori, Hall of Fame. So once we're hanging out at Turner Sports, and Shaq was like it was playoffs, and it was like the NBA TV people, the TNT people, all kind of in this one area, right? Watching the games and getting ready for our shows. And, we're not on the air because the games are going on. And hanging with Kenny Smith and hanging with Charles and hanging with Shaq and all the NBA TV people. I mean, it was quite the scene. It was a damn party without the booze, okay? And so we're hanging out one night, and Shaq just says,
Kamala Juice. Is Robert Horry a Hall of Famer?
And I said, Shaq, he's not. And Shaq shot me a look like, what? Robert Horry's not a Hall of Famer. I'm like, Shaq, he's at like 7,000 points for his career. You can't make the Hall of Fame with like 7,000 points. Like it's impossible. Like there's nobody in the Hall of Fame with like 7,000 points. And he says like,
Kamala Juice, do you understand the shots that he hit?
Yes, Shaq, I understand the shots that he hit. Big shot Bob. Okay, we all know this, right? I'm just saying that in terms of the counting numbers that it takes to get into the Hall of Fame, he's not even close. He's got 7 championships, Robert Horry. He's the only guy in the history of basketball with multiple championships with 3 different teams. So he did some extraordinary one-of-a-kind stuff. And so I say that because I have come around. I'm with Shaq now. I am. And if the next time I see Shaq, I'm literally going to tell him this. Shaq, I believe Robert Horry's a Hall of Famer. And he's going to be like, huh? You said he wasn't. And I'm going to be like, I did some more digging, and I've got a new opinion on it. If Satch Sanders is in the Naismith Hall of Fame with all the rings and some all-stars, and he's got like 7, 8, 9,000 points. He's in the Hall of Fame. Why can't Robert Horry be in the Hall of Fame if Satch Sanders is in the Hall of Fame? The answer is he can. I don't think he will be. Robert Horry, by the way, I've talked to him about it. He does feel like he's a Hall of Famer. Draymond Green. Draymond Green's a Hall of Famer, folks. You may not like him. You may not even like hearing that, but he's a Hall of Famer. And Draymond isn't even going to come close to 20,000 points. So if Ben Wallace is in the Hall of Fame, Ben Wallace barely scored at all. Awesome defensive player, champion, all-star, DPOY, the whole thing. So through that, I was like, yeah. And by the way, the Hall of Fame, the Naismith Hall, is very inclusive, right? It's not like baseball or football where it's very exclusive and very hard to get into. It's actually relative to those sports. I don't want to use the word easy, but there's a more primrose path to the Hall of Fame in basketball than there is in the other sports. But I tell you what, we've got Scott Engel, the Hall of Famer, coming up around the corner here. And so let's catch a break here. We'll come back. We'll get you caught up on some NBA scores. We'll take a look at the World Series here, let you know what's going on with that. And so sit tight, man. We got Scott Engel around the corner, hanging with your boy Cam, talking some NFL football in the Week 9 slate right here on Bettor Sports Live.
This is Bettor Sports Live. Corey, Nando, and friends. Presented by Mayo Media on Bettor Sports Network.
I'm convinced that Babe Ruth is a fictional character. Babe Ruth is not real. We've been hoodwinked. We've been bamboozled. We've been led astray. We've been run amok. Babe Ruth, I don't know the rest. Babe Ruth is a fictional character. I'm dead serious. Babe Ruth is a fictional character. Y'all are never going to get me to believe that Babe Ruth is real. Babe Ruth is like a baseball Santa Claus. I'm not buying it. After I saw those highlights last night of Babe Ruth, I'm like, there's no way you can tell me that Babe Ruth is a real person. Who do you know? There is nobody under the sound of my voice that has ever seen Babe Ruth play. I asked my pop, you ever seen Babe Ruth play? He's like, no. Nobody's ever seen Babe Ruth play.
Come on.
I'm telling you, Babe Ruth is a fictional character. Even Babe Ruth baseball cards, it looked like it's drawn. Like, Babe Ruth is not real. Y'all trying to pull a fast one. Listen, I don't know who made this up. Maybe it was Phil Rizzuto. Maybe it's the Lenny Melnick. But Babe Ruth is not a real person. There's no way. Everything about Babe Ruth is sketchy. If you didn't go to the games, how do you know that it really happened? Or I listened on the radio. You listen to Ovaltine on the radio. That old school radio was all fiction. Everything on old school radio was fake. But you think Babe Ruth is real?
Look, he lived until 1948. So if you find someone who's like 85 years old, they might have remembered him when he was little, when they were a little teenager.
Babe Ruth was made up by baseball purists. I am certain.
You do that thing where you pause a Babe Ruth video and you zoom in and you zoom in and you zoom in. You see like some artist autograph like right here.
Yeah,
some digital art right here. Yeah.
Somebody needs to investigate this and see if Babe Ruth is a real person. I'm pretty sure Babe Ruth is a fictional character created to make people think that like there was this great jolly old baseball player that drank beers and ate hot dogs and hit 60 home runs. Like the home run record before Babe Ruth was like 14. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
but
now
he figured it out. Like who figured out the dunk, right? Like he's just like
that's like Dr. J or something, right? Then Dr. J, probably was before Dr. J, but Dr. J made the dunk famous. Babe Ruth made the home run famous, or maybe that was a way to get people to like. We're gonna make baseball America's pastime, but in order to do so, we need somebody who we can make the face of the sport. And they didn't have no face of the sport. So they're like, okay, let's make him a fictional guy that played for the Red Sox and was traded to the Yankees for like tickets to tickets to cats. You know what I'm saying? Like the Red Sox get a Yankees.
You tried to say Les
Miserables. Is there any footage of Babe Ruth in the Red Sox uniform? None. I'm telling you, Babe Ruth is a fictional character.
Bettor Sports Live with Rick Kamla on Bettor Sports Network.
Hi, we're back. What's up? And we're still bagel in a pitcher's duel in the World Series right now. And that is good news if you are on the Houston Astros tonight. If you want the Houston Astros to win, I'm not an Astros fan, but I do have pride in opinions, and I do want to be right. And I want you guys to make some money off it. Base hit to right field by Aledmus Diaz. Pardon me, that was Vasquez. Gurriel to second base. 2 outs, 2 on, top of the fourth. Nola is at 56 pitches here with 2 outs in the fourth. So he's kind of reeled in his efficiency here a little bit. But this is good news for Houston because, I mean, literally, they took McCullers to the shredder from the first inning of the game last night. Bong, 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 bong. 5 home runs off of Lance McCullers last night. And so, as a guy who's picked Houston based on their starting pitching, the best starting pitching in baseball, and hanging in there with the Astros tonight because of their starting pitching, it's a really good sign that they are through 3 innings at least of bagel baseball. And here's an out by Diaz with 2 outs, as we said, and 2 on in the top of the fourth. And so Nola's out of another jam. This is the second time in this game he has pitched out of a 2-on jam to keep the Astros off the scoreboard so far. I love a pitcher's duel in the baseball playoffs. I don't want 9-8. I don't want 6-5. I don't. I'll take it. It's going to be a good baseball game. I like games like this. To me, they're more dramatic. You know, when it's, and I don't want 18 innings of no-run baseball. Don't get me wrong. But 3-2, 2-1, that's my type of baseball game. How about you guys? Do you prefer the high-scoring baseball game, playoff games, or the lower-scoring one? I like pitchers' duels. To me, they're more dramatic. I'm a starting pitcher guy. You know this. That's how I have won 50% of my Yahoo fantasy baseball leagues, is because I'm a starting pitching specialist. And it was fun to talk with Taylor Mathis, and she is too. So, like, next baseball regular season, we're going to have her on, and we'll be talking about starting pitcher props all over it. We'll be all over that stuff. But starting pitching is my specialty. It's my forte. And to the degree that I don't go for any of the top starting pitchers in fantasy baseball. You're like, wait a minute, you're a starting pitching specialist, but you don't go for any of the top guys. The fact that I'm a starting pitching specialist is why I don't go for the top guys, because I know that every single year there will be guys like Tyler Anderson, Tony Gonsolin, guys that come out of nowhere and have outstanding years. Every year there's 5, 10, 15 guys like that. Maybe it's not 15. Maybe it's 5 to 10. And so you really have to stay on starting pitching because I don't have the Verlanders and the Scherzers and the DeGroms and these guys. I don't. The Otanis. I don't. You can have them. I'm taking hitters when you guys are taking those guys. And then my hitting is going to be better than your hitting. It will be, because I've got big names up and down my lineup. And you've got a big name here and a little name here and a big name here and a little name here, because you've got these badass starting pitchers who you feel so great about. But what you're doing and screwing up with is you've got these great starting pitchers, but you don't have enough bullpen and you don't have enough starting pitchers. So you're going to play against me and you're going to beat me in the efficiency, but I'm going to beat you in wins and Ks, because you think because your starting pitching is so good with these 4 or 5 badasses and I took them real high and I don't need more pitching. Yeah, you do. Against me, you do. And so you've got a lot of bench spots taken up by hitters who never play for you because you're going with the regular guys. Okay, so on Monday, you can play your guys a little bit. And on Thursday, you can play your guys a little bit. So what? You can have an extra hitter on Monday or Thursday. I'm going to get all these extra pitchers, and I'm going to neutralize all of these high-priced pitchers that you've got with volume. And then I'm going to beat your hitting lineup with my hitting lineup because it's going to be better than yours. It's a tried and true formula, man. Starting pitching specialist. I'm telling you, if winning redraft fantasy baseball leagues matter to you, and if you play in Yahoo, listen to your boy. I'm the Tony Robbins of Yahoo Fantasy Baseball. I have the formula. I have figured it out. I have cracked the code. I'm 50% champion in my leagues. That's almost impressive to me. 50%. And it's because I've figured it out. And it's the exact formula that I just gave you guys right there. Let's check some of these comments. Frankie Pug says, I love a pitcher's duel. It's like a chess game. Whichever pitcher makes the mistake will lose. Bingo. The drama. Who's going to blink in the stare? No, I love that, Frankie Pugs. Dave Poland says, I can appreciate a great pitcher's duel. Dave Poland says, bartender, give me a shot of Camel juice. Hit me. Hola, senor. Tequila, por favor. I like it, man. I like it. Dave Poland says, I think Shaq committed a lot of offensive fouls. That 2002 Kings team was robbed. Well, you're damn right. They got Donaghy, man. You're damn right they got robbed. There's no question about that. And Shaq did commit a lot of offensive fouls, but it's the way the NBA was back then. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Dave, you're funny with these comments. Some of these I can't read on the air. Dave keeps me on my toes, man, for sure. Dave, I'm not reading that. I'm not reading that one right there. You guys absolutely crack me up, man. I want to check in on this Trae Young line. I don't have a good feeling here. I see the scoreboard and it's Hawks 91 and Knicks 77. The Hawks are suddenly up by 14 points. I feel a Trae Young eruption happening here. It has not happened. It has not happened. You know what has happened? Remember me complaining about Trae Young taking 17 shots in the first half when he wasn't having a good night. He was 6 of 17. And you need to shoot less and involve your teammates more. That's exactly what he's done. Collins is now in double figures. DeAndre Hunter now is up to 18 points. DeJounte Murray is up to 31 points. Look at this. Look at this. He's at 17 points right now. His number's 28.5. He does have a fourth quarter shift coming up here, but he's really going to have to get it moving and grooving to get over this number now. So that's looking promising for us. I kind of like to see that. Let me check one more here. Let me check the Milwaukee and Detroit game. We had a couple of players in that game. We had the over on Brook Lopez at 13.5. We had the over on Jaden Ivey at 13.5. Jaden Ivey is on 5 points at halftime. They just started the third quarter, though. Milwaukee's up by 9. And Cunningham having a rough night here, 2 points on 1 of 8. Not good for me in the Cam dynasty. So Ivy needs to get to 14. He's at 5. We're okay. We're okay. We're not on path for it, but still we're in the neighborhood. Brook Lopez on path for the over here at 13.5. He's got 7 points. Double it up. We're 14. So interesting. I love tracking these prop bets. Let's talk some NFL news here. We're going to bring on Scott Engel, the King, the Hall of Famer, in just a moment here on Bettor Sports Network. Harper is up for the Philadelphia Phillies. Let's check Javier's pitch count here. A little high. He's at 56 pitches right now, and we're very early in the bottom of the 4th inning. As I say that, Houston's bullpen is absolutely nasty. So, I mean, it is what it is, right? But Keenan Allen, I saw that. I'm like, we got to talk about this today. Keenan Allen said his hamstring injury got worse during the bye. Oh, my God. So, wing and a miss by Bryce Harper. That was a beautiful fastball high on the inside part of the plate, and Harper swung right through it. 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th inning. Christian Javier is dealing. He's dealing. He's really dealing. I want to reiterate that again. Keenan Allen said his hamstring injury got worse during the bye. Are you freaking kidding me? He tried to downplay it. He said it was a possibly scar tissue breaking away. But he said today that he won't again take the field until his hamstring is 100%. Why? Because he's soft. Soft, soft, soft. I don't do business with this guy. And I haven't for years. Why, Cam? He catches 100 balls every year. Yeah, when he's healthy. Right now, he's half man, half a season. He's not even going to play half a season. He aggravated his hamstring injury. By the way, whoa, I just saw a stat. Whoa. Christian Javier has not allowed a run in the last 33 innings as a starter. Are you effing serious, man? 33 innings without a run as a starter? What? My God. I should have flown to Vegas and put money on Javier tonight with a stat like that. Dang it. Holy cow. Whoa, that one blew my hair back. But Keenan Allen, the most Keenan Allen, soft tissue ass thing ever, aggravating his hamstring injury during the bye week. That's what he said. Chargers coach Brandon Staley said Keenan Allen did not practice today. You think? I don't like hearing a football player say, I'm not going to take the field again until I'm 100%. Really? Okay, so then we'll see you next year. Name a football player in the NFL right now that's 100%. That player doesn't exist. There's not one. Not one. Even the guys in the practice squad that never play probably have a sore something. Javier just blew away Castellanos on that last pitch right there. Another K for Christian Javier. With the season on the line for the Houston Astros, he is coming up big. And we have Bagel through 4 in Game 4 of the World Series. It's Rick Camelot, Better Sports Live. In moments, we're going to bring on the HOFer, Scott Engel, my boy. He's there. Everybody's early. You all are early, like 29, 28. We set it up for 9:30, showing up early right here. My guy, I'm not like mad. I'm just saying, like, people are very, very punctual here for Better Sports Network. And I'm not even going to say for me and make it about me. It's about this guy right here. It's about the great Scott Engel, Scotty the King. And it's good to see your face. It's going to be good to hear your voice, man. What's going on? Scott, you there? Can you hear me? All right, we're working it out with Scott. He can't quite hear me yet. Dave Poland saying Rick was right on Sabonis. 15.5 was way too low. Let me take a look at that box here real quick while we get the audio worked out with Mr. Engel. And let me see here. Sack is leading Miami. Jimmy Butler taking a game off. He's like, we want to win every game. We're going to win the championship. Then play. Sabonis is already over his number, 15.5. He's at 18 points. We're midway through the fourth. Dave Poland, and that was easy money, man. That was easy money. That was a layup by Vegas. Scott, can you hear me? Do we have a connection here? He can hear me. Oh, do we have him? Scott, do we have you?
Yes.
My boy, Scott Engel. How's the fam, my brother? How are you?
Good. Just up late working here for the GameDay.com and getting frustrated with certain things. So, but being with you will be better. I've just watched the Knicks blow a 23-point lead, and now they're down by 15. And I'm getting some fantasy trade offers where I'm just like, I'm going to go on a rant. I'm like, people, do you know who you're dealing with? Like sending me these offers in a dynasty league, like sending me Jared Goff, Adam Thielen, and an 8th rounder for my 1st rounder and a 6th rounder. Like, why would I do that? J.K. Dobbins for Damian Pierce? Come on. You know, people play fantasy football. I'm sorry. I want to go on a rant. Okay. Like, you have to give up something to get something. You just can't take players off your bench who are underperforming and try to spin them. Like, I was talking to somebody earlier today, and look, I appreciate everybody that follows me, but I kept trying to tell him, I said, you got to give up to give up something to get something. He's like, well, I can't offer Raheem Mostert and Jerry Jeudy and get Jalen Waddle. Like, you have to give up something to get something. But I want to keep Kamara and ETN. But you can't if you want DeAndre Hopkins. You can't offer Mixon and Clyde Edwards-Helaire for Tyreek Hill. It's not going to happen. It's not. I said, put yourself on the other side of the trade, and would you take it? He goes, yeah, because I need a running back, and I'm 2-6. Yeah, I guess I would take it. Come on, be realistic. I pointed him to the Roto-Baller, trade analyzer, and I said, work with this, see where the values come up, because look, I appreciate everybody, but people, you're making fantasy trades. Give up something to get something. If you could rip somebody off, go ahead and do it. But realistically, 9 times out of 10, when you offer 4 players for 1, it's not happening.
Is your angle, or do you have a team name where it's not obvious that they're dealing with one of the GOATs of fantasy football?
My team name in the FFPC is like rotoballer.com:the king. And like in other leagues, like we're in a basketball league together, the GameDay.com. I have other teams' names, like in my other basketball league. My favorite basketball player of all time, Bernard's Kings.
That's a good name.
That. And then my son's name is Sean, and I'm a Met fan. So the Shea Stadium Sean Hawks kind of combines Seahawks and Sean. So
that's nice. I
yeah.
like that. It's creative.
Yeah.
I just put Rick Kamla in all bold, so everybody just gets the message. You're playing against Rick Kamla. Bring it, okay? And don't send asshat trades to me. Scott, today, it's so funny you say this. I don't get I'm in a million leagues, right? I know you are. I am too. And
yeah, me too.
I'm in
maybe 3 million. Yeah.
I'm in 6 college fantasies. I'm in 5 hockeys.
Wow.
I'm in like 8 or 9 basketballs. I'm in like, I don't know, 13 NFLs. I'm in a ton of leagues, right? So today I get some absolutely horse bleep trade offers. This one in a listen to this. This guy wants me to give him Kenneth Walker for Romeo Dobbs and Kareem Hunt. Are you kidding me?
But you need a wide receiver, and I'm giving you as a starting running back.
Kareem Hunt?
That's the funny part, is because they'll try to sell it to me when they run it by me. And I'm like, it's not gonna work. The straight value doesn't work. It's not about that you're 2 and 6 or that you need this, And the fundamentals of trading is people often ask, hey, what can I get for this guy, or who should I go after? It's about finding the right trade partner first. You can't say, okay, I need a wide receiver. Should I go after Devontae Adams? What you have to do is, if you're stacked at running back and you want a wide receiver, look at the roster grids in your league and see a team that matches each other's weaknesses and strengths, so where you can help out. Like if you're deep at running back, look for a team that's needy at running back and deep at wide receiver. You have a trade partner you know to go after. You have to think outside yourself when you're either making a trade offer and say, people don't often enough say, I should step outside myself and get on the other side. Would I accept this? And I had one guy say to me, yeah, I would take Mostert and Judy for AJ Brown. Yeah. I guess if I needed a running back, like, come on, dude, you're not being realistic,
And if you sign him up, and if you put him on a polygraph machine, he would fail, right? He would fail the lie detector. That's a lie. He wouldn't do that.
He would. He would. And some guy sends me that trade offer I told you before, and he goes, "Want to go for it?" I'm like, "No."
So Scott, I'm in a league, and I'm not doing well in this league. It's a 2-kicker league. Okay, I should have not played.
Oh
in this
wow,
league
Jake Seeley would not like you.
I didn't. It's not my league. It's a league that I'm playing in. I didn't create the scoring method. But it had, it's an IDP league, which I like, and so I said, all right, screw it, I'll play a 2-kicker league, and it totally threw up the draft because like kickers were going way sooner than they should. So I got a trade offer today. This guy offered me, and I have, and I got with it late in the draft, Scott. I was like, damn, I got to get a kicker. I don't have any kickers, and like they were almost all gone. So I took Bullock, I took Zane Gonzalez, and I took. I ended up picking up Riley Patterson of Jacksonville. And we're talking about bottom of the barrel.
That's nice.
Here, right?
Riley Patterson has worked out.
I mean, right, but it's not, Tucker or, these big name guys. So anyway, and you got to have 3, right? You can't just have 2 because there's bye weeks and stuff like that. So I was able to get 3 kickers. I actually picked up Pinheiro after Zane Gonzalez blew a tire.
That's solid.
This guy offered me, and I have Randy Bullock, and he offered me KJ Osborne for Randy Bullock. Like, dude, I'm not trading you a kicker in a 2-kicker league. Like, I'm not doing that. So that was a horse bleep offer. I got another one here.
It's like people just want to get rid of stuff. You gotta look. I'm not trying to insult listeners or followers. That's not what I do, because without them, I couldn't be doing what I'm doing, and you couldn't be doing what you're doing. But people don't want to give up anything to get anything, and I kind of understand it, because when I look, even my mind, when I work through a trade. Like I was talking with Joe Pisapia, Fantasy Pros. We were talking through a trade today, and your mind goes to, okay, I don't want to give up this guy, that guy. You have to. It's, I needed a running back in the Flex League, Fantasy League of Experts that Jake Seeley runs, and I need a running back. I don't want to roll out there with Tyler Algier, because I lost Brees Hall. So I put, on Sleeper, I put the trade block. I'm willing to trade Metcalf. I'm willing to trade Olave. I'm willing to trade Judy. He comes back to me and he says, do you want Khalil Herbert or DeAndre Swift? And I, first he tries to offer me Singletary for Judy. I'm saying that's not happening, but he's got to try. It's an expert league. Let me see if I can get away with something, he's thinking. Not, I'm not giving up to get anything. And then we talk the trade through. He's like, I would consider Metcalf for Swift. Like, I understand that. That's not happening. What about Judy for Herbert? He's like, I don't know about that. Because, my point being is, you have to be willing to talk fair. You've thrown KJ Osborne out there. What do you want? What do you want back?
He scored a touchdown last week. Ooh, KJ Osborne. Let me sell. Yeah. Let me strike all the irons high. Caught a damn touchdown.
In a two kicker league, it's like, I'm not trading him for like the return of Irfan Herrera. It's
Oh, by the way, big development in this game, Scotty Engel. Aaron Nola's being lifted right now. Bases loaded. By the way, Christian Javier pitching a no-no right now. Okay,
really?
I'm not worried. Yes,
I got to turn the Nick game off.
I'm not worried about jinxing it because I'm not broadcasting the game. I don't give a damn if he throws a no-hitter or not. I know the baseball. You can't say no-hitter. You're gonna jinx it. Everybody literally.
That only happens to Joe Buck.
People would be killing the play-by-play announcer if he said that, and then they lost no. He's the worst play-by-play guy of all time. How do you not know that you're going to jinx the no-hitter? People kind of suck that way. And then just lastly here, Scott, I'm in a fantasy hockey league, right? And I got Alex Ovechkin, and this guy offered me Philip Forsberg, forward for the Nashville Predators, and Kevin Hayes is off to a relatively hot start for the Philadelphia Flyers. So Kevin Hayes was just picked up off the waiver wire. Philip Forsberg is actually underperforming this year, but I'm going to trade you Alex freaking Ovechkin for Philip Forsberg and Kevin Hayes. No, I'm not going to trade you Ovi for this. These offers, man. Scott, I literally cannot remember the last legitimate offer I got in a Yahoo league. I can't remember the last one. Every single offer I get is complete and total garbage. And the only trades that I ever work out are trades that I come with, right? And like you, I target teams, and I like to make trades in dynasty leagues, right? Yeah. Especially in mine, the Cam Dynasty. I traded a first-round pick in 2023 for Jared Goff because it's a 2-quarterback league, and I had Tannehill and Mayfield were my top quarterbacks. I actually, miraculously, Scott, won the championship last year in my 14-team league with Tannehill and Mayfield at quarterback. How did I get that done? I don't know, magic. But I was like, that ain't happening again. Not with these stiffs. So I traded Damian Harris for Derek Carr. That's worked out pretty well. I traded a 2023 first.
Carr's hasn't been too good
for Jared Goff. Actually. I get it, Scott. I get it, but I'm in a 2-quarterback league. I got to have 2 quarterbacks.
You got to have it. Harris is like falling off.
So like that's worked out for me pretty well. By the way, do you remember the name Brendan Haywood?
Of course.
Okay, I knew you would. I actually made that trade with Brendan. I traded him a 2023 first for Jared Goff.
You guys were hosting together, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And I actually beat him in the championship game in the Cam Dynasty. So B Wood's my boy, man. I love him. And Scott Engel, we love you. It is Scott Engel, the king, hanging out here with your boy Cam on Bettor Sports Live. By
the way, real quick, but I'm sorry to interrupt you, but real quick, I just want to flip it for a second. I was in a league, like what people call a home league, just like friends and stuff like that, for 17 years. And I knew I could take advantage of people, and I did. Because, there's no ethics. As long as you don't do it, not against the rules. If you can rip somebody off, go ahead and do it. This is all about winning. We're friends. We're friends outside the league, inside the league. If I can rip you off, I'm going to do it. People say on the bulletin board, that's highway robbery, and I was commissioner of the league. I'm like, Yeah, it was. So whatever. He's like, we should veto it. I'm like, well, we're not having vetoes in this league. I'm not a fan of vetoes because people only veto, when the team ahead of them in the standings makes a trade to get better. Worry about your own team.
I love it. All right. So another big development in the baseball game, game 4 of the World Series. Jose Alvarado on the mound for Philadelphia, and he just hit Yordan Alvarez in the love handle. The love handle, that area right above your belt.
Yeah.
Guys like you with dad bod. Yeah, I got a lot of padding there. Yeah. In the love handle area. He literally just got hit in the love handle, but the base is now 1-0 Houston right now. And oh, dang it. The score bug with the outs in the inning and all that is now overrun by a thunderstorm warning here by local Fox. They got that little apron down on the bottom, like, oh my God, there's rain in the forecast. So, okay, we've got a buzzkill your view of the World Series here. Do you guys know that I'm broadcasting live and need access to that information? How many pitches the guys got? How many outs are in the inning? You sons of guns. I
see where Alvarez got hit. That
almost
looks intentional. Yeah,
right in the love handle.
It's right a fastball, like right in the middle of the back. So it's not like he got hit with a curveball, in his shoulder or something like that.
So Scott, let's talk about this Hawks-Knicks game here really quickly. I
shut it off. They're down by 19 with three minutes.
Oh yeah, it's over. It's over. But I want to bounce some off here. I had the under on Trae Young at 28.5. I thought that number was way too high. He's at 17 right now. And remember, in the first half, I believe he had 17 in the first half. He was 6 of 17 from the field. I believe he had 17 points, and he's still stuck on that number. But I said, and you remember
he did get injured. He came out of the game for a bit. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. So I didn't have that on. He's only played 26 minutes tonight. What happened to Trae, man?
He went to the locker room. I'm not sure exactly what happened. But I think he also missed 10 of his first 12 shots.
Yeah, and so I was like, I'm fading him tonight. Oh my God, here's a big hit off the bat of Alex Bregman. This may clear the bases, folks. Can Yordan make it all the way around from first? We shall see. 2 runs are in.
Your feed's ahead of mine right now. I got an 0-2 count.
So Bregman just sent a shot into the right field corner. It is 3-0 Astros. So how
the new Hebrew hammer?
I love it. How invested are you, Scotty Engel, in this World Series? Are you watching the games? Are you making bets on these games? Like, who did you have winning the World Series? I had the Astros winning the World Series. I still do. But how about you?
I was gonna have 2 TVs on, honestly, and watch that in the Knicks. But since I'm sitting here at the desk and looking forward to coming on you, I had the score up in a window and I wasn't actually watching. I don't root for anybody when my team is out of it. I'm a Mets fan, so I guess I'd prefer the Astros to win the World Series. But then again, I'm also friendly with Zach Wheeler, so I'd be happy for him if he won a World Series. I'm not betting on it. I bet more during the regular season. I watch it, and I'm very interested as to what happens, but I'm not heavily invested. But I keep up with everything that's going on. Even if I miss the action, I make sure that I watch a ton of highlights, etc. And I said to myself, nobody's beaten Houston, but Philadelphia this happens in the playoffs. I mean, we saw this with the Steelers 17 years ago in the NFL. It's like a lot of people like the Phillies shouldn't be in the playoffs, but still, you got to give them credit. They're talking about the playoff system. You got to give them credit for this hot run that they've been on. It's really, the playoffs are very often about who gets hot at the right time, and Philadelphia certainly has. You'll see teams like, I'm a Met fan. They were hot for 5 months, and then they cooled off at the wrong time. Whereas Philadelphia, it's kind of flipping, from what happened with the Mets. And, Philadelphia, they have pitching that could really contend with anybody. And the one thing with Bryce Harper, though, people were saying that all of a sudden he's this clutch postseason guy and whatever. This is the first postseason where Bryce Harper has really delivered. I give him credit for that. But before this, he had never been on a team that won a playoff series. And I remember distinctly in 2015 when the Mets won the division, they played the Nationals down the stretch in a huge series, and Bryce Harper didn't get one big hit, and he got the MVP. And I'm like, I understand MVP usually based on stats, but to me, Yoenis Cespedes was the MVP that year because there was no way that the Mets were winning the division without him. But MVP, like the word MVP and best offensive player, should be two different awards because very often the MVP will not come from a winning team or that made the playoffs. How can you be an MVP if your team didn't make the playoffs? Like, of course, you can't blame the team around you, but I believe you have to be the most valuable player in a winning team. This is the first season where Harper has really been an integral part and an important part of a championship caliber team.
It's a great point, Scott. The Astros have put 2 more runs on the board. They just got an RBI single by Yuli Gurriel, scoring another run for Philly. They're up, Houston. They're up 5-0 right now. Now, before you go to the betting window to cash in your ticket, you have to understand the Philadelphia Phillies have been an amazing come-from-behind team in these playoffs, and they're averaging 7 runs per game at home in these playoffs. This game is not over yet. It's 5-0.
No.
It looks very, very good for Houston right now. I just want to put that out there. This is not over yet. Scott,
so are you doing an in-game bet now and taking the Phillies on the money line? Is that what you're telling me?
No. That is not what I'm telling you. I'm just literally. That was just like a random thought on my. Because you remember the weren't they down 5-0 to San Diego and came back and won? I seem to recall something like that. There was a 5-bagel game and Philly like erased the lead like that. Like it was nothing. Their bats are amazing. Scott, I want to ask you. We're on Wednesday here, so I know you've got a lot of research already done, a lot of grinding on week 9 already done. Okay, so just like an open canvas for you here, because I just let me know a stat, a trend, an observation, something of all the research you've done here. You know, I'm a research guy, you're a research guy, and we get these stats, we're like, whoa, right? Like we get that pop, that tickle. Okay, so what experiences like that have you had heading into week 9 here? Talk to me.
Well, I've done my waivers and my sleepers over at thegameday.com. So when I do that, I come up with a lot of research. Just so many players I'm looking at, like all these stats I come across about the stark splits, the Detroit Lions on the home and on the road.
Yes.
The Lions are the highest scoring team in the NFL on the road and not at home, and the lowest on the road.
I like them this week against Green Bay, by the way, Scott. I think they win that game against Green Bay because they're at home.
They'll score points. I don't know if they'll win the game. Their defense is so bad, and I like A.J. Dillon as an anytime touchdown scorer prop because the Lions have allowed the most rushing touchdowns to running backs with 11. I think the thing I'm fascinated about, though, that's not statistical, is this talk that the Miami Dolphins are an elite team just because of who they acquired and how they've played through the first half of the season. All respect to the Dolphins, okay? For those of you who are a little older, this is the most exciting Dolphins offense since Marino and the Marx brothers. Okay? Let's be serious.
You mean the Jay Fiedler era didn't quite approach these highs?
No, not comparing it to Cleo Lemon and Sage Rosenfels. No. This is the most exciting offense. Now they had Bradley Chubb. But I'm stopping short of saying, okay, they're in the conversation with the Bills and the Chiefs. Because people were saying that about the Broncos when they acquired Russell Wilson.
I was one of those people. I was.
You can no longer say that what you see on paper, which is now really what you see on your video screen because nobody uses paper hardly anymore.
I do.
What you see on your screen is not what's going to happen on the field. Miami has to earn to be in that elite class. They beat Buffalo, but it's a regular season game. That can always happen in a division game. You're talking about the Chiefs, who have won 2 AFC championships in the Super Bowl, and the Bills, who have made 2 deep playoff runs. Miami's exciting, but they have to earn that mantle of being elite. You can't just hand it to them. But I'm always looking through fascinating stats, with the Dolphins, and the team is just fascinating now. They've changed the dynamic around there with the coaching staff, and coaching goes a long way. I'm a Seahawks fan, and everybody said they were going to win 4 games, and they've already won 5. It's been so exciting, like Geno Smith leading the league in completion percentage. And, I said, and I may have said on your last time on your show, that look, I'm wrong on some stuff. Like I recommended Sammy Watkins last week. I should have known better than that. I've been burned many times by that before. But I said that Kenneth Walker could be a fantasy superstar if he gets a chance to be a full-time back. And he is the most exciting player to wear a Seahawks uniform since Joey Galloway, and the most exciting running back to wear the uniform since Kurt Warner with a C in the early 80s. People say, when I mention Kurt Warner, I'd be like, he played for the Rams and the Cardinals. Like, I don't remember playing for the Seahawks. Like, not that Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner with a C. You look him up. Like, I'm not – Sean Alexander and Marshawn Lynch were different. They weren't pure excitement. Kenneth Walker can score from anywhere on the field anytime he touches the ball. He's incredibly exciting.
Scott, you are the man. It's just fun hanging out with you, man. Talking crap, having some laughs, talking sports, helping people with fantasy, complaining about horse bleep trade offers that we're getting. You the man. We're getting short on time here, Scott. We're up against the end of the show here. Quickly, tell people how to watch you, listen to you, and read you.
TheGameDay.com. You check me out there. Right now I have my Week 9 sleepers, my waivers for those of you mining through waivers tonight, and also my Week 9 prop bets are over at TheGameDay.com.
Scott, the King, the Hall of Famer, I appreciate you, brother. Be well. I will be in touch with you very soon to get you back on.
Anytime, my man.
That's my guy right there, Scott Engel. Big thanks to him for stopping by here, folks. And we're almost out of time. It is 5-0 Houston right now at Philadelphia, and they are looking good. It's a final in New York. The Hawks have beaten the Knicks 112-99. We got a chicken dinner winner with Trae Young and under on 28.5. We got a winner on Sabonis over 15.5. Let's check out Milwaukee and Detroit here real quick. Are we down to a minute to go? Really? Is that what's going on here? Yeah, they're about to pull the hook on me, man. Ivy's got to giddy up and go to get his number. Brooke Lopez, he's at 9. So not great news there. Let me check out, but we're not dead yet with that. Let me check out Paul George here. We need to get to 24.5 in his game against Houston. He's at 20 with 8:40 to go in the fourth quarter. I like how that one's looking. How about Scott Engel's boy, Jakob Poeltl? Let's see what he's doing here against the Raptors. Has he hit his number? He has not, and that's not looking good right there. We will update all this stuff tomorrow. We will have a blast. We'll get into Thursday night football, talking about Game 5 of the World Series with your boy Justin Verlander. Big thanks to Taylor Mathis and Scott Engel for joining the show. Tyler Soto and Anthony Rivera behind the glass. I'm Cam. We'll see you tomorrow.